just go to the areas where we get reports of flooding, and life safety is always our main concern, as well as property conservation. Again, that's mainly what we're doing here at the mobile home park, is looking if we can conserve the property, and also, of course, get the people out. So if we get more rain, it gets the condition worsens, and at least we've accomplished that much, get people to high ground and over to an evacuation center.
Now, on our video, I don't know if you can see on our screen, we're watching people actually clear out their drains in their neighborhoods because they get clogged with debris.
Right.
Do you recommend that? Is that something that
Sure.
would be safe?
You know, if you can clear the drain and it can go to low ground, then that'll work. We had a similar problem here at Fire Headquarters in Camarillo, where our drains also plugged up. We tried to clear them, but downstream it was full of capacity, so just too much water. It was standing water, nowhere to go. So as the rains receded, then the flood waters also went down. So for the most part, the public can do that. They can assess their drains, make sure that their gutters are clear, and if it becomes necessary, they need to have a plan in place as to evacuation, have their vehicles if they're ready.
Similar thing in this situation?
No, it didn't, mainly because in concert with the Sheriff's Department and Fire Department, we went into those locations and we actually removed folks from that area, and they were relocated to a center there at the old Camarillo State Hospital. So that was a good effort on both of those agencies to get these people out of harm's way, again, so that we would not have those rescue calls as we did during those winter storms, where we had to actually plug people out of the river bottom and put our rescuers into those precarious situations. We did not have that happen again this year because we did remove them from those areas.
Joe, we've heard of many power outages around the Southland because of the storm. Is there any, is the electricity still running in Camarillo?
Yeah, we've been fortunate. We did have a little flicker of power starting to dim, but we are up and running. We do have 100% utility, so we are looking good. We got hit really hard starting about 8 o'clock here in Camarillo, and that's when most of our problems started to happen. We had numerous reports of water rescues in and around the Camarillo area. We had our swiftwater teams deployed. Ventura County has two teams, two 6-person teams, both in the east end and west end of Ventura County, as well as you mentioned, the helicopters. So they work in concert with the Swift water rescue team, as they are right now there at the mobile home park. Again, they are trained. They have the gears, the flotation devices, the dry suits, so they can go into the water, and if they have to. But we try to stay shore base and affect the rescues there. But when it does become necessary, we will put them in the water and affect those rescues as we need to.
I want to, at the risk of stating the obvious, sometimes when we mention it, it doesn't have near the authority as when the fire department mentions it. But what should we do when we approach water like this? What should motorists do? What would you like to see them do?
Well, the first thing motorists can do is definitely slow down. Drive slowly, allow enough time to get to your destination, and just watch the weather, watch what the rain's doing, monitor the weather reports, and by all means stay away from any standing water. Do not attempt to cross any roads where you have water flowing across. We've had situations where people try to cross a flood control channel or a creek or a river, and it meets with disastrous results. We did have a young student last year, 2 years ago, which was he was washed away to his death. Again, just stay away from flowing bodies of water, and if necessary, stay home. Report, call into work, and tell them that because of the road conditions, you cannot get there safely. They'll understand. Again, the main focus and function of the fire department at this point is, again, life safety, rescue, and of course, property conservation.
And on the screen right now, I don't know if you can see it, Joe, but there's a crew, somebody trying to help a driver or stranded motorist out of that standing water. Has that obviously been very common today?
Right, yeah. We had numerous situations of that. Again, a lot of water in a short period of time. Flood control system just so overtaxed, couldn't handle the flow, so you had water rise quickly. Suspecting motorists came into those areas. They thought they could navigate through, felt out their vehicles, so then we go into action and have to rescue these folks. So again, if you don't need to be on the roads, by all means stay indoors, stay dry, watch the storm on TV, monitor Channel 5 and all the other networks that are covering the storm.
Amazing.
Joe Luna, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We appreciate all the
for
information. We'll check back with you as necessary throughout the day.
All right.
Thank you very much, and good work on the part of the Ventura County Sheriff's Department and all the services that are out there assisting people in their time of need. As we mentioned earlier about the about the rain-soaked ground and the trees and the weakened roots. We have a report out of Santa Barbara that the trees, because of the winds and things, are toppling over. And in fact, one tree toppled over this morning onto 5 cars parked behind an apartment complex near UCSB. So that's one of the big dangers that, as Roland mentioned earlier, we've got unstable air and wind blowing behind the storm.
Yeah. In fact, we're going to update the radar for you because you're seeing some of the precipitation there. Fortunately, it's beginning to subside in the Camarillo area, moving eastward. But as we take a look at the radar in and around the Southland and across much of the Southland, you can see it there. All that yellow and the red are indicative of the stronger thunderstorms producing about a ½ inch of rain per hour. They're moving rather rapidly to the northeast, so you're starting to see some clearing. But if you look near Torrance, southward to near Long Beach, then right into the heart of Hollywood, that's what we're hearing right now. You're seeing another line of thunderstorms form up. That's little waves and ripples in the atmosphere that happen right behind the cold front. And so that's the reason why the forecasters are keeping an eye on possible thunderstorm activity throughout the rest of the afternoon, even though the front itself has moved toward the east.
We can freeze that last frame there. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No problem.
Look at the red there across Torrance. Well, we missed it again.
Well, it'll stop here in a second.
It's
There
tough
we
to
go.
Stop it right there. There we go. That's where we're going to see it. And that's where we're starting to see rainfall in excess of a ½ inch to maybe an inch, depending on the severity, an inch an hour. So you're looking at that activity moving towards rather rapidly. And there's always that possibility to see a few tornadoes and severe thunderstorms result, because now we're getting some cold air convection from these thunderstorms. So that's a possibility through the afternoon.
So you see that where it says Simi Valley, from behind that green line, that light green line to the west.
We're starting to, of course, this is also the closed-in view. So this particular radar doesn't see that far out, but it looks like we're starting to see some clearing west of Malibu, west of Santa Barbara. But right now, obviously the concern is for, even down towards Orange County, look at Irvine, there's a pocket of an isolated thunderstorm heading in that general direction, and even along the Avalon area, they're seeing some very strong thunderstorms in that region. So, and then you go further inland, and you're still seeing a lot of red and yellow, and heavy rainfall is still anticipated.
Rain is going to be throughout the day, and of course the commute on a Friday evening is going to be a mess out there,
as Joe
folks.
mentioned, stay home if you have to.
Oh yeah, or leave a little bit later than you normally do, because at 5 or 6 o'clock this is going to be a nightmare. And of course, patience is the key here. We don't want any rain rage.
No rain rage.
No rain rage.
And I'm sure people are getting tired of all the rainfall in and around the area. And as we mentioned earlier, we're seeing another dose of rain coming through. This whole system will stay with us through the afternoon into the evening. Probably not as hard, but we will see enough precipitation to cause a few more showers.
And speaking of traveling, we're getting reports that Santa Barbara Municipal Airport has been closed after a nearby creek overflowed its banks. So Santa Barbara will not be having any flights going in and out of there. So if you're headed in that direction, you might want to change directions, because
I'm sure all the airports are going to have some type of
It's going to
delays.
be, it's going to be tough, especially the smaller municipal airports that don't have the equipment to clear off the runways or to cope with severe weather of any kind. But as we look around the Southland, this is the Harbor Freeway downtown. You see how slow the traffic is moving. That band of heavy precipitation is moving over the Hollywood area, and the downpour will now, it's been very slow moving. I thought it would be moving a lot more
Initially,
quickly.
and what happens a lot of times is the initial system comes through, and then you start getting all the instability brought on by the actual storm system. A lot of it has to do with the upper level winds and driving the storm system through. The upper level winds have the core of the storm moving northward, and that's why we're not seeing as much upper air support here in the Southland, which is the reason why we're getting more rain here.
So that's the situation on the weather, but right now we've got a rescue. Chief Matt Fletcher from the Ventura County Fire Department is on the phone with us. You're rescuing someone from a storm drain. We just watched some people clear a storm drain. Obviously, that could be a very dangerous situation. Chief, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, right now what we're doing is we're going through the neighborhoods, making sure that people are all right, because we have about a 1-hour window with no rain. Then we're going to have another storm front coming in. And some people are in their backyard, and they were yelling to us to stop, so we came on in, and it looks as if we have a kid or a child inside of a storm drain in the back. The only problem is that he speaks Spanish, so we can't understand him, but he keeps saying, como chica, como chica. And the best we can make that of that is where girl. So we have a translator coming on, and he was Sarapari Chica Chica A. So what we think is that either his daughter is in there, or a loved one. So we got a guy tethered right now, going down inside. We got a flat. Hold on, what? We got 50 feet in the back. What we're finding out now is that it actually turns out to be a monkey in a tinfoil hat.
Okay. Thank you. Obviously, we've been victims of a prank, and we appreciate the morons who call on the phone and tell us stuff like that.
That's sad.
Was that funny to you? If it was funny to you, great. That's one. We've got a serious situation in our storm as we continue here following the storm here on Channel 5.
People,
it takes.
I can tell better jokes than that. If you're going to call on the phone and prank us, we can do better than that.
One other thing.
These pranksters are playing with something potentially dangerous.
We're trying to help people out here, and that's not helpful at all.
One other thing is people try to drive through these waters. It also causes a ripple effect and causes flooding in places where it may not get flooding. So people try and just kind of sort of ripples into other areas. So, that's, why are you trying to drive through that?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what, you see everything. Absolutely everything. And this is what we're looking at here downtown. We got away with one time. Once somebody tried to do that, and we managed to get out of it. But look at the look. Now this is a plan development with water around it, and it seems to be fine. It's the drainage is such a major thing. Should we check out the freeway? The freeway is still a mess there. Very slow going on the southbound side of the 101, right there through Camarillo. Very slow.
It's going to be that way throughout the day.
Yeah. It's going to take a while before all the trouble spot and the flooding clears up before this traffic can actually move freely. You're looking at different shots from our Caltrans cameras all around the Southland. Traffic appears to be flowing pretty good. This is a shot of the northbound 5 south of Main Street. Seems to be flowing slow, but at least it's flowing. It's not at a standstill.
Well, you can hear the rain outside.
Oh, yeah.
It's really starting to come down outside. Gee, can I just get in my car and go home now?
I still wonder about my son.
Take Joe's advice and just call in sick.
Yeah. I spent all afternoon Tuesday when the storm hit, literally going through all the drains around my house trying to keep them clear. And then yesterday when we had a sunny day, a break in the weather, I went through again and washed out the drains and tried to make sure that all the leaves and everything were off.
It's a good idea to do it after every storm.
It's a lot of work, but it really pays dividends when this situation hits. And you know what? Maybe it's the way that we are here in Southern California, but we're not. The El Nino thing was touted as it was going to happen.
Right.
We're all skeptical and we didn't believe it, but now here it is, and it's a good thing that a good many people took it seriously.
Especially the local leaders. They did that early in the year because forecasters they cleared everything out, and they took I'm sure a lot of feedback, not very good feedback from people going, yeah, this El Nino thing really isn't coming around. But we're just now in the heart of our rainy season here in Southern California.
And this is expected to last through March?
The latest projection had this thing going into at least at the end of March. We're starting, for the past 2 weeks, we've seen system after system come through. The extended forecast models that I looked at before we just got on the air had another 2 or 3 behind this one. So
if you don't have any rain gear, go out and get some because you're sure going to need it.
We even got new rain gear here. That's how well prepared we were here.
That's fantastic. Really, it sure does help. And rain boots do help.
Look at the mess.
Believe you me, what a mess. There we have our Caltrans camera over downtown.
Well, that storm cell that hit Camarillo is now over us and moving to the east slowly. And what happens is the aftermath of this is what we will see as we're seeing in Camarillo right now with the flooding and the rescues and the water rushing from the mountains. But the Sepulveda Basin is filling up with water, and that's doing its job. The freeways, of course, are getting inundated, and there's a lot of problems getting out and about, and if you don't have to be out, as Roland said, that's a good idea. Just stay home. Call your boss, say...
I think this time they'll understand.
Yeah. Well, I think we're taking it seriously. It's actually happening.
We have a picture from a helicopter. No, we just have a picture from a helicopter, and
Okay. Picture from the helicopter.
From the helicopter.
Oh, KNBC let us use their helicopter. Thank you very much, KNBC.
That means Fritz has to do the weather now?
You see the rain, the flooding in this area, but it looks like the water's come down. You can see the different lines of the levels of water.
Down and the muck and all that debris is surfacing, so that's a sign that the water is receding a bit, hopefully.
We're refueling Skycam 5, and this video shot is courtesy KNBC TV.
You know, we just got an update from the Weather Service, if I may. A winter storm warning has been extended until 9 o'clock for Santa Barbara County Mountains, Ventura County Mountains, and the Los Angeles County Mountains, excluding the Santa Monica Range, but heavy showers, thunder showers, and heavy snow falling at about the 5,000-foot level. In fact, Mount Baldy reported 4 inches of new snow as of 11 o'clock, so we're only talking a half hour there.
Wow.
And Mount Wilson had an inch of new snowfall so far today. So the local mountains, as the cold air starts coming through, will start seeing their share of rain.
Well, we never got a shot of our snow summit camp. We didn't see.
No,
we never did.
No.
Okay, it must be down.
Trying to get a shot of the mountain snow. So this situation continues. We're providing you a special report here on the continuing storm problems around Southern California. We have flooding all over the Southland. We have been mainly concentrating on Ventura County, which was the first place to receive the brunt of the storm. Santa Barbara County, Ventura County, as the storm moves to the east. We're seeing a significant rainfall, significant problems, and we're keeping you in touch with all of it as we can, as best we can here on KTLA, with our network of cameras and reporters.
Oh, they opened the door.
They opened the doors, and you can hear the rain.
Sound like a tornado hit or something.
Yeah, let's see.
You can hear that.
You got that shot.
That is just incredible.
There's a new, newly dedicated Stan Chambers building. In front of it is a Lake Stan Chambers.
And
That's
we had
right.
The weather office appropriately had a leak the other day.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
Well, according to Sam, they're purchasing a skidoo for Stan, so he can park.
Yes, Sea-Doos are always very popular this time of year.
Is it skidoo or Sea-Doo?
Sea-Doo.
A Sea-Oo, okay.
Yes, good morning, hi.
How much I know.
One of the hired help.
And yes, one of our hired help.
Notice how they've been sandbagging the Stan Chambers building.
Yeah, don't want any rain getting in there.
I bet plumbers must be having a busy time with this.
Well, you know, during the past several months, you know, construction people have had a buku business, and now all the roof work that had been done, the drainage work that had been done, is, I'm sure, paying off as far as homeowners are concerned.
And there you see a shot of, is that Ventura County? Camarillo.
Camarillo once again.
And you see some cars submerged in water, and it seems to be standing. It doesn't seem to be rising. There's no rain. Obviously, the storm has passed that area. Now they're feeling the effects of what the storm had left behind. Cleanup efforts are underway, and they're right now trying to drain the streets surrounding these neighborhoods, these low-lying neighborhoods.
Look at all the mud that
it is surely a mess.
Behind. It's going to be tough to clean it up. It's going to take a few days.
I'm sure the homeowners are wondering, wow, do I have insurance for this?
I hope they do.
That's always the question. That's always the question. But prepare for that, the El Niño effect.
The traffic, as you see, is being rerouted because of the mud and the debris, and just unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
At least people are being somewhat patient, it looks to be.
They have, and it's been occurring.
This is trying for everyone.
Yeah, they've been rerouting traffic since this whole thing occurred, obviously, but everyone seems to be really patient. It's been moving in a very orderly fashion, and that's very fortunate, and we have these people to thank for that.
Jennifer, can you tell us what street you're looking at here?
Yeah, this is Ponderosa at Las Posas. This particular corner here where you see all those cars flooded is Dos Caminos Plaza. It's apparently a shopping area. Let's tilt down. Look at all these cars that unfortunately were caught in the water here. If you tilt down, Steve, you can show those there, and then if you go all the way around the parking lot, you'll see numerous cars that unfortunately have been caught. If you go to the left, and you'll see it looks like someone's going to try and help somebody here. Keep going around, you'll just see someone backing up, and then look at there's a white car. Just there we go. That looks like it's completely stuck to the right there. This again is Dos Caminos Plaza at the corner of Ponderosa and Las Posas. Las Posas, again, we've been mentioning, has been closed down in a variety of places, same as Ponderosa. A lot of homes here in this area. This is the area that we've been focusing on where we saw that cul-de-sac where the people were trying to clear that storm drain. That's all through this area, this residential area of Ponderosa between Lewis Road, around Lewis Road, I should say, and Ponderosa. Now, I don't know where these people are that have their cars that are stuck. There's some people walking to the left there, Steve, right there. They might be as well stuck here in this plaza. Again, it's not raining, fortunately, now.
Jen? Hello, Jen. Jen, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How many blocks are we talking about here? 4 or 5 or?
For this particular plaza, it looks like one big block.
One big block.
But, I mean, throughout the area, it's a good 4 or 5 miles of residential area that is flooded here. Like along, especially Las Posas here. Well, go ahead, Sharon.
We have not, excuse me, Jennifer, we have not heard of any injuries or any significant problems with regard to, people being rescued. I mean, significant problems where people are hurt and they need help. Have we?
No, surprisingly enough, no. And there's a lot of cars that are stuck in this mud.
Unbelievable. We're going to break you for a second. We're just going to go outside to see, to Hollywood, take a look at how heavy the rain is falling.
This has been going on for about a half hour here right outside our studios.
Non-stop. Unbelievable.
So you're looking at a lot of rain in and around the Hollywood area.
Yeah, just unbelievable.
Just an update again as far as the weather is concerned for the Santa Barbara and Ventura County mountains. They're also seeing not only the snow but heavy winds, in fact near hurricane force winds. So those people traveling in those regions could see near blizzard conditions because of the mixture of the wind and the snow. So
and if you're headed out to the mountains, not a good idea.
Not a good idea. And they're advising chains obviously to get up towards those areas.
I don't even think, are they closing the roads along?
That I'm not sure on an update on that.
That might be a good idea to check on that.
Either way, it'd be dangerous driving up to those areas.
Yeah. I was hoping to go skiing at some point this weekend.
Good luck.
I don't think I'm going to be going up there.
No.
You're looking at a live shot of Camarillo, where the 5-mile area of that area, a 5-mile stretch of that area is closed because of severe flooding. There are homes that are being flooded. The streets are just crazy. Traffic is being rerouted. Here we go. There's a shot of our snow summit cam.
Some people enjoying this.
Some people skiing. It's hard to tell from our camera whether it's snowing or not.
Well, it's a mixture of clouds. At that elevation, you're looking at a mixture of cloud. It is snowing in the backdrop from what they tell me. And some of the snowfall amounts are going to be rather 2 or 3 inches over the next 12 hours. You can sort of see the snow if you really look hard.
I can't believe people are still out there skiing.
I'm now being told that the 12 inches are expected at about the 7,000-foot elevation.
Wow.
That's Snow
Incredible.
Summit. So.
And there you see a shot of our Caltrans camera. You're looking at the northbound 5 at Grand Vista. Traffic seems to be flowing, and then again, it's only midday, 12 o'clock.
And if you notice that car that was stuck right in the middle, if your car stalls, obviously try to get it off the road, but notice that last one was right in the middle of the lane there.
At 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I'm sure the CHP is going to be having a very busy time. It's going to be quite hectic out there. So again, we can't stress enough to how you all should exercise patience when traveling in the rain. It's going to be quite hectic out there.
Okay, we've got all the updates as far as the weather is concerned, and we're going to update you for those of you now just watching as far as our weather throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours for the afternoon rush hour commute. Here are some of the watches and warnings that we have for you for most of the Southland. And again, the flash flood watches have been extended through the afternoon and into the evening. Do we have those watches? I believe we do have them. We will have them. It's a combination of either winter storm type watches or flash flood watches. So far, most of the heavier thunderstorms are moving rather rapidly. Eastern Santa Barbara County, including Santa Barbara, flash flood warning until noon. More than likely, this is going to be extended. All of Ventura County, western LA County, including the San Fernando Valley. That until noon for about another 10 minutes, but with some of the stronger thunderstorms that are going on now, obviously some of these will be extended into the afternoon. And a winter storm warning, as I mentioned, 4 to near almost a foot of snow is expected, and with those very gusty winds, we'll see some blizzard-like conditions in and around the local mountains. So if you're traveling up and around those areas, do be careful and just try to avoid them. Try to avoid being outside as a whole. And it looks like that's going to continue through the afternoon and into tonight. So we'll have to watch that situation. You saw the snow people enjoying it, but that's about it.
And speaking of traveling, it's hard to say whether LAX is delayed or not. I don't know if someone can find out whether we have any delays at Los Angeles International Airport or Burbank Airport.
Here's a look at radar. You can see the rain still coming in. Now what's happening is we're getting moisture from the south. That in itself is all part of this El Nino factor, and this is some of the things that we were worrying as forecasters that just feed into the storm. The area of low pressure moving rather rapidly towards the east and northeast. But the new activity beginning to develop just to the west of Santa Barbara and just to the south as well, headed eastward. So throughout the afternoon, there's still that instability, the very gusty winds, the colder air. So the showers and thunder shower activity will continue through the afternoon. But you'll notice the yellow areas, which would be indicative of the stronger thunderstorms, have decreased a bit. So the storm that we're getting through now is that yellow area you see around the Hollywood area. But at least the rain showers we're expecting are light to moderate in as far as the westward movement and the storms coming in from the west. But look at all the orange and red showing the showers and thunderstorm, and that one very strong line of thunderstorms still moving northeastward. You see it from the heart of Hollywood down towards Torrance and then out into the just west of Long Beach. That is moving rather rapidly at northeasterly at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And there's still some heavy rain showers down toward the south near Newport Beach and Long Beach as well. And that too is moving towards the northeast. So Irvine, Anaheim area will see that precipitation over the next hour or two. It looked initially last night that this activity would be over from about 8 to noon, and the front itself stalling just a bit with a lack of upper air support. So we'll see the shower and thunderstorm activity through the afternoon here in the Southland, turning into snow along the higher elevations here as far as the local mountains are concerned.
I've just gotten information from our newsroom. Apparently the Los Angeles International Airport Police are shutting down traffic at the Sepulveda Boulevard Tunnel, which is under the runway, because of heavy flooding. It appears to be raining there, and it's really hard to see. This is a shot from our airport camera.
LAX, I believe, is reporting light showers, light to moderate showers there, yeah.
There's some flooding already, and what they're doing is they're redirecting motorists to alternate routes. So if you're planning to catch a plane tonight or this evening, leave plenty of time.
Or call ahead. Some of these may just be delayed because some of the thunderstorm activity up towards, like if you're going to San Francisco, there's got to be delays. Sacramento, Reno, Lake Tahoe, because of the Northern California has been getting hit worse than we have. So the entire state is feeling the effects of this El Nino storm.
There have also been, as I mentioned, a number of power outages throughout Southern California. Redondo Beach, 850 customers are without power. Lawndale, 2,000 people, no electricity. Santa Monica, 1,000. And Laguna Beach, 300 people are without power. This all occurred this morning around 8:30, 9:30 a.m.
We're not seeing the high tides, which is good news for the coastal area, that the last storm sort of coincided with the abnormally high tides. So fortunately, we're not at least having to deal with that along the coastal communities.
Yeah. Situation's pretty bad out there. You're looking at 10th Avenue. You can barely see it. I don't know if it's from our camera or because it's rainy and foggy.
Combination of both.
Probably a combination of both. That's right.
This is Sepulveda. This is near the airport where you just mentioned Sepulveda.
This is the. I believe this is the area where they've shut down the road because of flooding. And as you can see under that under the overpass, there's a substantial amount of water there, and you can see the cars going through there.
And it's already above some of the hoods of some of these cars, so why they're even trying to get through this is amazing in itself.
We can't stress enough how dangerous it is to drive through standing water, because you really never know how deep that water is.
And how fast it does continue to rise, especially as the rain falls in that area.
There you see the buildup of traffic on the other lane. I believe that's headed towards towards the airport or away from the airport.
Heading...
Traffic pretty heavy in that direction.
Heading into the airport, I believe. And traffic obviously very, very slow.
Yeah, can't stress enough. Well, rain is hitting the Hollywood area, as we mentioned, and you can hear it pounding if you are in Hollywood. Stay indoors, folks, at least for a while. Run a movie or just kick back and watch us. How's that?
It's a blockbuster kind of
Watch
day.
us. That's even better. We can update you on all the traffic information and whatever else. You're headed anywhere. It is Friday. It is expected to rain through the weekend, right?
Indeed. In fact, we'll have a reprieve a bit tomorrow afternoon, which will allow most of the residents to figure out what's happening in and around their, in particular, house or apartment. And then for Sunday, Sunday storm at this point in time looks much like this one, but it's hard to tell because the problem in forecasting these storms is that there's really not a lot of data coming in out of the Pacific as we would if we were in Denver. We could always have, you know, data coming in from the other states. But when we're talking about these El Nino storms coming in one after another, there's not a whole lot of data other than satellite and radar that forecasters can use to determine just how strong these storms are until they get close to the coast. And so that's the reason why we're watching very, very closely the satellite pictures coming in from the west. There are 2, maybe even 3 storms still coming our way.
And there you see our live camera from LAX. We're a flooded intersection. We're getting reports that Eric Spillman is in Malibu. He's been there all morning. It stopped raining, but there are some problems, right, Eric?
There certainly is. We're in the 19,400 block of Pacific Coast Highway. And by the way, we're on the air here. You can see that there is a creek that is overflowed. This is the same creek that we were at all morning long, a drainage canal. And earlier, several hours ago when we were here, it was pretty much empty. But you can see so much water came down from all the rainfall. It filled up entirely, and it is now overflowing onto Pacific Coast Highway. For that reason, they've closed down PCH in both directions between Topanga and Cross Creek, which is an extremely long section of Pacific Coast Highway that passes through Malibu. And it's going to be a while before they get this mess cleaned up. That drainage channel just filled up so quickly, and all of a sudden it was overflowing onto the road. So Caltrans closing down PCH. They brought in the heavy equipment. They've got an excavator there, and they're doing this same thing that they were doing on Tuesday, which is using that big giant scooper to lift up masses of rock and mud and water and earth, and they're dumping it into dump trucks and then carrying it away and dumping it into the ocean. As you can see, it's going to take some time. This is the same problem that kept PCH closed for about 6 hours on Tuesday. And again, as I mentioned, we were here earlier this morning. We've been watching this whole thing. There was a bulldozer at work underneath on the other side to try and clear this channel up, but it rained so hard so fast, and water came down from the mountains and through the channel and brought a lot of stuff with it. And then all of a sudden, it just got plugged up, and that is the result. So once again, PCH is closed pretty much for most of the distance as it travels through Malibu, closed in both directions between Topanga and Cross Creek. And there's a lot of activity here as the Highway Patrol is involved and Caltrans, and they're going to be moving in a lot of equipment here to try and get this mess. But as we watch this creek here, there is still a lot of material coming down from the mountains, a lot of rock, a lot of debris. They're trying to take it away as quickly as possible, but more of it still continues down.
This proves how quickly this occurs. Just when we thought we were in the clear in Malibu because it's you know, the skies are brightening a little bit, all of a sudden, boom, this happens. The entire you know, highway PCH is completely closed. And fortunately, Caltrans crews are or have been right there, prepared for this.
They had all this heavy equipment standing by. Let's see if we can walk a little bit closer here and go over to the other side. You see how much water is coming down into the road. I think that is the length of our cable. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Just incredible.
Yeah,
you see,
just a lot of stuff.
There you see these bulldozers just scooping up that muddy water. It's not even mud. It's just mostly water, just runoff.
And what
very little debris.
What normally happens, of course, is that it passes through underneath Pacific Coast Highway at this point when the drainage channel is working the way it's supposed to. And I guess this is a sort of a notorious channel. It frequently does this, and it certainly did this on Tuesday. It's done it once again.
Well, they're doing like on Tuesday where they're not even putting it in the truck anymore. They're just putting it on the road right there on PCH, not even attempting to clear it out.
The idea is to try and dig down deep enough to get to where they can actually clear a hole through it so that it can be used. And that's, I guess, their first priority.
And get a good view of the water there as it pours out of the mountains.
But as you look up the channel there, you can see just how much of it is coming down. It is still coming down. It's kind of a delayed reaction. It hasn't really been raining that hard for the last hour or so, but it was raining, I guess, in the mountains, and for that reason, now all of the runoff is coming down all at once.
Now, Roland did mention earlier that there was a flash flood warning for the mountains of Santa Barbara, Ventura, L.A. counties, but the Santa Monica Mountains weren't included, and this is in the Santa Monica range.
Well, it looks like the heavier precipitation moving eastward. This activity, as Eric mentioned, it's usually what happens hours afterwards that causes this type of activity.
Both lanes of PCH are closed, so that means this could be a while, and that means commuting home tonight could be horrible.
In the last instance on Tuesday when this happened, it was about 8 or 10 hours of closure, and in this case, I imagine, although I haven't spoken to any Caltrans officials yet, I imagine it's going to be many hours before they can fix this problem.
Eric, do you see any clouds thickening up to your east or out towards the water? Our radar showed some precipitation out in that area.
I'm sorry, could you ask that again?
Do you see anything on the horizon coming in from
No, not really. And as I mentioned, it's really been very light rain here for the last hour or so, and we thought that we'd made it through here in Malibu and that Malibu had fared pretty well without a closure on PCH. But next thing we know, the Highway Patrol is closing down PCH, and we come up here and we see this. Let me just see if I can talk to one of these officials here. Excuse me, sir. Let's move over here. Sir? Sir? Hang on, I'm trying to get his attention. All right, he's apparently very busy.
Yeah.
Can understand that. But it's going to be a while. I can guarantee you that this is going to take some time.
Well, look at how much water has accumulated just in the last couple of minutes. Right on PCH, there's no doubt that they're not able to keep up with the amount of debris that's pouring in out of the mountains, and it's and this is just one spot. There are dozens of spots like this all around, all up and down PCH, and we're only at one location.
Right, what they really want to do, and you see what they've done, is they put up a barricade here, a barrier to keep the water and the mud from traveling over to the homes on the other side over here. If you see to the right, there's lots of homes over here on the beach side of PCH, and they want to prevent the mud and water going towards there. Those people have sandbags all in front of their homes, and obviously it could get worse. And you can see this pool here, this big pool, is getting bigger and bigger, and they're trying to stop it, but it's a race against time here. They're trying to get it away as quickly as they can, but more water, more mud just keeps pouring down from the mountainside.
You're watching KTLA TV Channel 5 in Los Angeles, live coverage of our continuing storm problem here in Southern California. You see that backhoes and tractors and are battling.
It's coming this way.
Are battling the water as it rises and as it comes out of the Santa Monica Mountains and heads down toward the ocean. Eric Spellman's there live in Malibu, giving us a look at the work now. Ideally, what would be great is if they could get this all taken care of before the evening rush hour. But on Tuesday, this whole process took about 10 hours once they were able to clear the creeks and the rain stopped. But this doesn't look like it's going to be a quick fix.
No, and they're working like mad here, and yet still, it doesn't seem like they're making any progress. It doesn't look like they are.
The water continues coming downstream.
Yeah, it just does not let up.
One right after another.
Once again, both sides of Pacific Coast Highway now closed from Topanga all the way up to Cross Creek. And that's a good 10 miles, I'm guessing.
Well, as you see the rushing water pouring into onto PCH and eventually down into the ocean, let's check and see how the water is pouring into the Sepulveda Basin. That's where Gail Anderson is, live at the Sepulveda Dam. Gail, how's it going there?
Carlos, boy, since we last talked to you, we got socked out here. We were over at the intersection of Devonshire and Balboa, and it was raining heavily, and then it would slow up. And just as we left that area to come over here, we're on Burbank and Sepulveda, just as it crosses here in the basin, and the dam is over this way. Boy, did we get rain. Sepulveda in this area is heavily flooded, lots of potholes. This part of Burbank is flooded. That's why the police have closed off this area. There were some other news vehicles down there, and they are making them move out of there. You see a truck going by us now, but this is the area that's primarily flooded here, and the reason they closed this area to traffic and motorists. As we look over this way, we can see the dam. We're being told at this point the rain in this area has stopped. It's merely a drizzle, a light trickle, and we're told that the dam has reached the 689 foot level. It can go as high as 714 before they have to worry about a problem. And one of the gentlemen over here told me a few moments ago, since the rain has stopped in this area, that level has started to drop down from that 689. So we're in pretty good shape over here. A lot better shape than we were Tuesday. Even Tuesday, though, it didn't reach that 714 level, but it was pretty high. The rain had continued for quite a while at that point. But now we're just getting a light drizzle. I do even see some patches of blue sky over here, so that's got to be a good omen. But this area closed off primarily because this area you see behind me is flooded. We saw a police car go over there a little earlier. I don't know if you can see them down there behind me, checking the area. Flooded, but nowhere near as flooded, we're being told, as it was Tuesday here. They have the Swift Water Rescue and the lifeguard people on this street as well to keep an eye on things and to monitor the situation. But at this point, so far, so good. Of course, some flooding right here behind us, but the dam is doing just fine, we're told, at this point. And they believe the water level is dropping because the rain has let up in this area. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Gail, thanks very much. As you can see, the situation there, it's gotten much, much worse, and we've got this little reprieve, a little break, and you can see it sort of moving, rolling across the Southland,
right.
and now it's heading towards the east, and of course that can create problems as we head that way.
Freeway, they tell us.
This is the Caltrans cams. We call it instant traffic at 10th Avenue at the Santa Monica Freeway, and they're working feverishly in Malibu. What's the radar telling us
That's
now?
what I was going to do. Can we pop up the radar real quick? We're still watching that line of strong thunderstorms that just, it sounds like it's moved through here, but it is moving rather rapidly. There it is there. You see it now from, well, the darker red, indicative of a stronger thunderstorms from Burbank through the heart of Hollywood down towards Torrance and Long Beach. And then, well, just south of Long Beach, near west of Newport Beach, there's another squall line of thunderstorms. All that activity is moving towards the northeast somewhat rapidly at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So that's some very, very heavy rain, very strong echoes reported with those thunderstorms. But you're starting to see some light to moderate rain just to the south and southwest of Malibu. So even there, we'll see some more rain this afternoon.
There you see the freeways just moving along nicely. As long as you don't move too quickly, things will go just fine. Of course, this storm, as it moves to the east, will be probably somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's take a wild guess, Riverside by rush hour.
At least.
And it could be a mess, so it's going to be tough going, and if you can get away and go to your destination early, you might want to avoid the mess, because it's going to be, it's slow going there on the northbound 5 at Conda Vista.
Heard as many accidents as you would expect with this kind of activity.
Jennifer York has been up in Skycam 5 all day, and really there's been very few accidents that we've reported, and Caltrans has been busy keeping the roads clear, but not really from too many accidents. But then again, we will double check that to make sure that we give you accurate information.
Notice how the rain extends down towards San Diego and south into Baja, Mexico. So, and then San Francisco is still getting its share of rain. So the entire state of California is getting the wrath of El Nino-related storms.
Well, that low pressure center was really cranked, pretty tightly wound this morning when we first saw it.
Indeed. And then it's getting fueled by the tropical moisture that is associated with El Nino. And that's why you see all the heavy rains in the area now. Some colder air coming in, so we're starting to see some heavier accumulations of snow along the local mountains.
I don't know if we were able to get our snow camera up. But,
we showed it just a while ago.
Okay.
It's snowing there now.
And you see they have pretty much lost the battle of this creek. This creek is now completely spilling over the banks. That canal that goes under the bridge is clogged, even though they've been trying with the backhoe to clear it so that the debris does not get in the way of the water. But Eric is there, and it does look like they're not getting a handle on that. There you see the snow up at Snow Summit, very foggy and snowy. And if you're going to have to spend the day like this, might as well do it skiing up in the mountains.
Of course.
It's a beautiful day for skiing. Not having to make any man-made snow. This is all Mother Nature's work.
The higher elevations are getting the heavier snow accumulation, almost a foot, in fact, that we're anticipating. At about the 6,000, 7,000 foot elevation.
There you see some serious traffic slowdowns on our Caltrans cam.
At least people are cooperating with each other. It seems like it anyway.
So far, no road rage that we can tell. And maybe the Tuesday's dress rehearsal for this was a good one, because things seem to be moving smoothly around the city. Of course, we've continued to have the problems out in the Ventura County area, and in Malibu, the water is just pouring over PCH. Pacific Coast Highway is now closed, and will remain so until they get this done. Now, I don't know if Eric is in position to talk to me or not, but we are. Eric, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, now, is the highway closed at any other point than here? Give us a location again of where you are.
This is like the 19,400 block of Pacific Coast Highway, and the entire PCH is closed from Topanga Canyon at the south and going up towards Cross Creek, which is further up, maybe 10 miles or so. This situation here, this is a little drainage canal, which normally is not a problem. It's normally just a trickle. This morning it was clear, there was no problem at all. It stopped raining, and then all of a sudden this thing just filled up. The water overflowed onto Pacific Coast Highway. They decided it would be a good idea to close it down. They've got a barricade here, which is holding some of the water in a big pool, and that is working pretty well. It's keeping the water from flowing over towards the homes that are located on the beach side and going into those homes, so that is working extremely well. And meanwhile, at the storm channel itself, it's just a very long and tedious job. They're using an excavator and digging out as much as they can from the bottom and putting it in a big pile. And they're doing that over and over and over again. There's all kinds of rock and debris and mud and water, as you can see, coming down from the mountain, from the hills there. And it's sort of a delayed reaction. Even though the rain stopped, there's still an incredible amount of runoff coming down this hill, and it's all coming into this one point. So they're trying to take as much of this muck out of here as they can. They've got bulldozers. They've got a whole line of dump trucks here to the left. These people are just standing by, waiting to take loads of material to the ocean and then just dump it into the ocean. And you can see that the water is now spreading. The pool of water is spreading over the highway. Nobody can drive through this area. And I was just told by a supervisor here that it's going to be a very long time before they can reopen Pacific Coast Highway. He was saying he would be surprised if they could open it up before dark. So a lot of work left to be done. Just a lot of material. We're watching it being dumped right in front of us. And they're sort of continuing on with the barricade here. Now they're using the actual rocks and gravel to make a larger barricade and prevent the water and the mud from going towards those homes. And meanwhile, we're still watching more water coming down from the side of the mountain, through the canyon. We have to get out of the way here as they bring this through. Trying to lengthen that barricade, though, so that as the water pools up, it doesn't go to where the homes are. It's sort of a makeshift barricade. Apparently, they ran out of the concrete barricades that they were using earlier. Bottom line is they want to protect the property here from flooding and mud. And it's just going to take a long time. Again, this is the same spot where they had to close down Pacific Coast Highway on Tuesday, but on Tuesday they managed to close it down before it overflowed, and so they didn't get this pooling effect on the road. Today is actually quite a bit worse than it was on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's amazing that would be worse. It seems like it didn't rain nearly as hard, but it's been more of a constant rain as opposed to the sudden downpours that we experienced on Tuesday. Now, from this location, earlier this morning, like around 6 o'clock this morning, you were down on the beach. Now, how far does this have to go to get to where it runs into the ocean? Is there a house in the way there? Or?
No. Let me see if we can walk over here. I'm not sure if we can, but we'll try. We don't have much cable left, but basically the ocean is over that way.
Yeah.
And the drainage canal passes underneath Pacific Coast Highway, and it drains out over there where that railing is. Behind that railing is where it comes out.
Is there heavy equipment working down there too?
Now, I haven't been able to check over there, and I'm afraid we're out of cable. We can't really get over there. But there was earlier in the day, definitely, there was a loader down there, and he did a very good job. And we looked in there several hours ago, and it was clear. I mean, it was completely clear. It's a little box channel, and boy, let me tell you, it fills up really, really fast.
Okay.
Well, you're in the path of the
Yes,
water
you
there.
are.
Eric, thanks very much for bringing
Thanks.
us that update. PCH closed down for at least 10 miles.
You're looking at...
Topanga to Cross Creek, so
Yeah,
no way in or out of there
no
right
way.
now.
Well, you're looking at a picture of the eastbound 10 freeway at 10th Avenue, I believe, and closed, we are told, because of flooding. There's what you're seeing right here is a 4 to 5 mile backup.
People trying to get alternate routes in and around there.
Yeah. People are having a tough time. This is a day that you need to exercise a lot of patience.
Here's our Manhattan Beach cam. We haven't seen that for a while, and the surf continues to pound significantly there in Manhattan Beach. And, of course, our view of Malibu as the water just keeps pouring out of the hillsides.
Crews scrambling to clear the road. PCH closed in both directions for quite a ways.
They keep bringing in more equipment. We keep watching as they just bring in more heavy equipment. I don't even know what some of it is, but as I'm watching it come in, more cranes and more dump trucks, and they've got a whole bunch of stuff here, and I guess they've realized that they really do need some more people involved here. It's going to be a massive effort to clear this thing up. And of course, you know, Friday the commute is the worst, and they're already kind of speculating and saying that they don't think they can finish the job before the commute.
Well, hopefully it's Friday lights.
Yeah, really.
Well, it'll definitely be Friday lights through PCH, and we haven't heard of any cancellations or anything at school. School was canceled on Tuesday.
Pepperdine University had to cancel classes, and as far as we know, they were operating as normal today because the road was open for most of the morning, and it was only right around noontime that they ran into a big problem here, and it was unexpected. I mean, I remember talking to some crewmen not maybe an hour ago, and they were saying, yeah, everything's going great. We've had no problems. So things can change rapidly, and we see that there are some residents now. There's one at the bottom of the driveway over there behind that truck who are kind of watching this situation. This thing has a history of overflowing, and in fact, I was told by somebody that the residents here actually sued the state at one point for failing to clear this thing out one time and causing flooding. So the state has been sued over this issue before. It's been a problem, and they're doing their best to fix the problem today, but it's going to take a long time. You see these dump trucks backing into a good foot or so of water.
Okay, Eric, thanks. We're going to break away from you and take a look. What you're looking at, folks, is a shot from Skycam 5 of the raging water that's just, look at that.
Caleguas Creek, now really a river. Look at, you can see the size of the river with relation to the person standing there on the banks. Very dangerous situation if suddenly you would slip. You can see how easily that could, you could basically tumble to your death next to a river like that. Look at that, Jennifer York.
Yeah, this is,
it's got to be an impressive sight.
Yeah, we showed you this a while ago, and this is, I believe they call it Caleguas Creek. I'm not sure, excuse me for the pronunciation, C-A-L-L-E-G-U-A-S, Caleguas Creek, that follows, it kind of parallels Lewis Road and Santa Rosa Road, and this is just north of the 101. We're going to try and follow it up, the banks here. It's, the good thing is, though, I want to mention, really, that the roadways that are over this creek have not yet been flooded. They seem to be in pretty good shape still, and in fact, I think, are we shooting to the south, Steve? We could show them one of the you want to say this? All right, we'll stay on this, but what I'm saying is the roadways that are over this, and including the 101, is still in pretty good shape. There we go. If you tilt up, you'll see the roadway as well. It's right below. They've got a county ship above here too. This has been the same ship that's been kind of surveying the flooded areas off Las Posas and Ponderosa. And again, this parallels Lewis Road and Santa Rosa Road, and I believe it's called Caleguas Creek. I apologize for that pronunciation. But again, I wanted to show you the roads that go over this, and they still seem to be in pretty good shape. It looks like they're monitoring them actually as well.
You see the amount of the volume of water that's coming out of the mountains.
If you go to the right, I'm not sure.
This is kind of a larger perspective of what Eric is experiencing in a smaller creek in in Malibu, but you see the amount of water that's pouring out of the mountains, which would seem to, of
Okay,
course,
yeah, you'll see the road. There we go.
verify what Roland's been telling us about the warnings up in the flood, the impending flood warnings in the mountains, Santa Barbara Mountains. That's where this water comes from. And look at that. Look at the amount of water that's pouring out of there.
Just muddy.
Well, why don't we just follow this along for you, and we'll show you
Oh, sure. Let's
how
take a
this
lovely
looks.
stroll up the river banks on this lovely day with the muddy water. Yeah, unbelievable. Just look at that water. But like the spokesman from the Ventura County Fire Department mentioned to us, fortunately they have planned ahead and had learned from the lessons learned in 91, 92 when we had the floods out in Ventura County. They were able to pull people out of the river areas, homeless people who make their homes and find shelter in these areas, and we're able to do the right thing and get everybody out, so there's no threat to life in those river bottoms. Look at the Sepulveda Basin.
Oh, yeah. Major flooding. This is sort of a repeat of what occurred on Tuesday, perhaps not quite as bad. I'm not quite sure because we don't have a wide perspective on this, but flooding has occurred in the Sepulveda Basin. Gail was there a little while ago. I believe she's still there.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
she's not there. Yeah, so it's occurring. This is a shot of, I'm not sure what this shot of. This is Malibu.
Malibu, yeah,
Malibu,
PCH.
okay.
We're just giving you, shots all around the Southland as we make our way around the Southland to give you an idea of what it looks like everywhere. We haven't looked at the radar in a while.
Well, that's good. We can call for it now.
Yeah.
I believe we've got an updated...
Because it's raining in the valley.
Exactly. All that activity. You notice now it's moving towards the northeast, and it'll be moving into the valley and down in Orange County as well, providing about a ½ inch to an inch of rain with some of the heavier thunderstorms. And you'll start to see some clearing just to where Eric is, out towards the west. But right now, the primary concern is along the San Gabriel Valley and down towards Orange County.
Yeah.
Some strong thunderstorms there.
Well, I understand Gail Anderson is at the Sepulveda Basin right now. And Gail, major flooding over there, am I correct?
Well, we've got some new information for you. Excuse me if I'm out of breath. We're not allowed to take our vehicles where the people are who are checking on the condition and the flood level of the dam. Since we first talked with you, we were told the level was at 689. Now we're told with this drizzle, the steady drizzle, it's up to 691 and climbing. The level which will have people worried out here is 714. They tell me it's at that point when this will spill over from the dam into this basin area and possibly threaten the highway. But we're far away from that. But they thought it was important that we know that the level has increased, and as you can see, the rain is increasing here as well. It's gone up from 688, 680. 681, as we were told earlier, to 688, 689 feet over there by the dam. The flooded area, the reason the Burbank Sepulveda area is closed here is because of the flooding down here behind us. This area flooded, usually floods out, and of course it flooded again today. And even as we speak, the rain, we've got another cell coming through here, the rain is picking up. A few moments ago, the Swiftwater rescue team from the fire department was monitoring the situation, standing up here at the top of the hill, and they have decided to go ahead and go over to the dam and take a closer look at what's going on there, monitoring this level, which they say appears to be rising. That's the latest we have for you from the Sepulveda Basin, Sharon.
Gail, we'll keep you right there. I just want to talk to Roland for a second about the increase of water now. How quickly could we expect the water to rise to 714?
Yeah.
Well, if it continues raining, I mean, we're looking at some of the rainfall amounts, as we mentioned, at about a ½ inch an hour. I mean, it wouldn't take much at all through the afternoon if we continue seeing it. It's starting to pick up here where Gail was, and just a few minutes ago when we checked in with her, it wasn't raining at all.
So the math is variable at this point, and
Pretty much.
we see the runoff. The evidence of that runoff in Camarillo, and certainly we're experiencing it right here in the Sepulveda Basin. This was designed to do just that, keep the flooding from affecting Encino and areas in the valley that are lower lying areas. In Camarillo, in the Camarillo area, they use the football fields and the baseball fields and places like that as catch basins. This is a huge catch basin which is able to handle a tremendous amount of water before it spills over the dam.
There you see a shot of southbound 5 at Lancashire. There seems to be a jackknife truck
They tell me it's northbound.
Northbound?
Northbound.
Okay, northbound 5.
Well, they can't. It's SB5. It's a southbound 5 camera.
Yes.
But the accident's on
It is
the northbound
lane.
side.
That's
It's on
right.
the north.
That's right.
Yeah, it's on the northbound
We're
lane.
still getting used to these
Trying to figure that
cameras.
out. Yeah, the
Because these are
Caltrans
relatively
cameras.
new to us,
Yeah.
so. You're in a shot of a jackknife truck there, and you see CHP on scene. I hate to say this, but you might be seeing more of these as the day
Looks
progresses.
like there might be a car underneath the
it,
white,
yeah.
the white trailer there. The white tractor trailer is buckled there. You see the blue car. Looks like somebody is standing next to it. I think that he just opened the door, so we're not sure whether or not there's any kind of an emergency situation there. The CHP is on the scene, but no emergency crews, no fire department crew there yet. But it's obviously slowing traffic down to a crawl, and you see a lot of water there on the side of the freeway as well.
We're hearing that 2 lanes are blocked off, and we're checking to see if there's anyone inside that vehicle, or if
It looks
anyone's
thin
trapped.
underneath the white trailer.
Whether the driver is still inside that car or not, we don't know at this point, but we are checking.
You see it a lot, and truck drivers will always argue the fact that, you know, people pull in front of them. Not to say that this is what happened here, but that cars will pull in front of a huge tractor trailer rig and slow down or make some kind of swerving move or something, and they can't avoid them because of the mass of the truck and the speed, and it's sometimes tough to avoid. So make sure you leave yourself lots of space between you and the other vehicles, and whatever you do, try not to cut off a vehicle much bigger than you. A dangerous situation could then ensue. Let's move around with some other cameras and see what's going on around the Southland.
Skycam 5.
If Len Goodside is available, we've got a tea time available for us.
Well, you'd have to swim
the
there,
water
I think, to
got
get there.
big tough.
Did you bring your
canoe
rubbing?
out there?
I read this morning that they're postponing the PGA tournament at Pebble Beach.
Oh.
It was scheduled to be replayed on March 2nd because of the problems that they had this last
Right.
weekend. Well, now it's been delayed until August. They're not going to take
Oh, my
any
goodness.
chances with
There you
El
go.
Nino. The course was damaged, and of course the golfers
Oh.
are going to have to wait until August sometime for the tournament to take place. But
Look at
We'll talk about a
that.
damaged course here. This is the Camarillo Golf Course, and this is just south of the 101. The road is actually called Ridge View, and it just goes completely underwater. Again, we're seeing the county ship fly over the flooded areas, and they've just been surveying the areas. But this is there's a clubhouse here. That seems to be still okay, but it's the golf course itself that is underwater. And then we've got all these mobile homes along the ridge here. They seem to be a little bit, they're raised a little bit. Let's in fact follow this county ship. You'll see the mobile homes here, or the trailers.
when you say county ship, you mean the helicopter?
Yes, yeah, the airship here. It's been flying for all morning long. Okay, and then you can see the water goes right up to the edge of these homes, but I don't think it's has damaged any of the homes. It looks like they're raised a little bit. They're a bit higher than the course itself. The course is, boy, a big portion of it is underwater.
Well, that water's right up to the edge
Sure
there
is.
of these homes. They don't have a whole lot of wiggle room there.
Wow.
I'm sure they're
Oh, there you
concerned
see the
about it.
residents there.
Isn't that something? And again, this road that goes through this golf course, or around it, I should say, is Ridge View. And as we pull out, you'll see where it just goes completely underwater. If you go to the, I think, right, Stephen, just kind of pull out, you'll see a great shot of it. This is a golf course, and then there's the road, and you can see how it just disappears under the water. And then to the right of that is actually you'll see the 101 freeway here, coming down the Camarillo grade.
Farm fields are flooded
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
and-
completely,
and,
completely gone. Boy, you talk about adding injury,
but
insult to injury.
it seems to be doing the job that perhaps it was designed to do. I'm not a civil engineer by any stretch, but you see the water pouring into the golf course, staying away from the home, staying away from the highway, and filling up in the golf course. Now, if you're the owner of the golf course, this is not a good sight.
It's
Right.
a par 10 there, I believe.
Yeah, it's a par 30,
Just to get on
38
the
for
hole.
anybody. But you're looking at the water being contained into that area and being allowed to then move on downstream without spreading any further. But I would say that that trailer park is is not too far from being inundated as the water rises there.
Again, you are looking at our Caltrans camera of the northbound 5 at Lancashire. We're hearing reports that there are no injuries in this accident, a jackknife big rig, and involving a jackknife big rig and a and a vehicle. No injuries, fortunately.
You're watching continuous live coverage of the storm that is hitting Southern California here on KTLA Channel 5 in Los Angeles. We are continuing to provide you coverage of many different areas throughout the Southland, including the Sepulveda Basin, the Valley, the Ventura County, Santa Barbara area, Orange County, and throughout the Southland as we experience the wrath of El Niño, if I can use those terms, because it seems like we hear that a lot from newscasters, but indeed at this point we've got an awful lot of water moving this way, and Roland's got the outlook for the rest of the afternoon. It doesn't look like it's going to let up much.
Not in the inland areas, no. It looks like all that activity that was hitting Santa Barbara and Ventura counties earlier has now moved into this region, and in fact it is moving to it. We're going to take a look at the big radar and give you an idea of what's going on as the thunderstorms continue moving generally in a northeasterly fashion from the Bay Area down to Santa Barbara all the way down into northern Mexico. The yellow, though, and the darker green are indicative of the heavier showers and thunder showers, and that's going to hamper drive time possibilities this afternoon and into the evening hours. And there's still little waves to the atmosphere that because of the circulation of the low that caused more rain, and so near Santa Barbara we're starting to see light to moderate rain showers there, the heavier thunderstorms in and around the San Gabriel Valley and then moving eastward. So
now what about the next storm? We've got, looks like a break there, but maybe that's only the reach of the radar, but how much of a break?
The satellite picture, we're already seeing indications of another storm coming through for Sunday, and as I mentioned earlier, it's still kind of hard to tell whether or not it will be as strong as the last two. And then behind that, there is another storm that should be affecting the Southland for Tuesday. So
We're going to go back to Gail Anderson, who's at the Sepulveda Basin. Apparently she has some news for us. It's flooding there, we know that. Is there an update? What's going on, Gail?
Yes, we were talking a moment ago with Robert Amato. He's with the Valley Area Search and Rescue. Robert, we're hearing that, who's your partner here? Let me do that first.
My partner is Sherry Euler.
Good afternoon. Hi. We're hearing that the water level is rising up to 691. Is that right?
Yes, it is. From what I heard recently, they had to slow the gates down here at the basin itself because downtown is flooding out. Therefore, now there's going to be quite a bit of water forming in the basin, and as you could see earlier, Woodley and Burbank is now completely submerged. It's underwater, and it's going to be like that probably throughout the rest of the day.
When did they shut the basin here today?
I was paged at approximately 8:15 in the morning, or correction, about 9:15 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And at that time, the water level was at 677. It was just 3 feet shy of the flooding stage. When I got out here to check things out, we had already started planning on closing it at 680. And that took place roughly at around 9:30, quarter to 10.
Now, of course, I'm told the concern is that this not reach 714 feet.
Yeah, they don't want it to go any higher. I mean, right now, the way it is we've got a lot of water in the basin, and if it goes a lot higher than now, 405 and 101 freeway is going to end up being flooded out.
And that happened a couple of years ago.
Yeah, back in 92. It happened in 92.
And that could really complicate the situation, obviously, in addition to making an afternoon rush hour a nightmare.
Well, yeah, because then you're going to have certain lanes of the freeway are going to be shut down. We're talking a major gridlock if that happens.
Our anchor Carlos Mesco was explaining earlier that this basin is designed to capture, to hold on to all of this extra water, and it's doing that.
Yes, it is. It's working really well. The engineers that planned the dam out itself many years ago, we're talking back in the early 50s and possibly even in the late 40s, they designed it to flood out like this. However, over the years with, progress, building the roadways and everything, they didn't realize it was going to flood out this much. So in 92 was the first experience of knowing that the basin floods out this much.
All right. Well, let's hope that the rain eases up and it won't go much higher.
Yeah, let's hope for the best.
All right. Thank you both again, because I know you're out and about checking on things, and we appreciate your time. Again, Robert Amato with the Valley Area Search and Rescue, and your partner?
Sherry Euler.
All right, Sherry. Thank you.
Thank you.
They're recommending I get some gloves. I've hit the pruning stage here. No, I'm not prematurely wrinkling, just pruning. But so far, so good. So let's continue to hope for the best out here.
Oh, yeah. You're doing a great
Oh,
job.
yes, wrinkling, indeed. We're going to go out to Malibu, shall we, and check in on Eric. How's it going there, Eric?
Well, it's a continual effort here along Pacific Coast Highway as they try and prevent homes on the beach here from flooding. You see this creek here, which is known as Pima Creek, I believe. It's a small creek. And before it was flowing easily and passing underneath Pacific Coast Highway, well, the drainage below the channel got filled up with mud and muck and rocks. And you see what's happening, the water overflowing onto Pacific Coast Highway. They're doing their best to try and get rid of it. This is, let's talk over here to Dennis Cutting, who is with the Caltrans. He's the supervisor. How you doing?
Up in lots of mud and rock again. Yeah.
Tell us about what your aims are here. I know you're aiming at most to protect these homes that are nearby.
Correct. That's why we put the K-rail and then dike it off, so we end up with a big swimming pool, but at least it doesn't get to the houses.
Were you surprised by how quickly this thing filled up?
Well, I've seen it happen before, but it's surprising how fast this thing can fill up.
You've got a big excavator working there. We're watching that. It looks like it's not making much progress because there's still so much stuff coming down.
Yeah, and it quit raining, what, half an hour ago. And like you say, he can't make much headway because for every bucket he takes out, 2 or 3 come in. So it's a matter of playing catch-up.
Now, I know you have a lot of dump trucks involved, a lot of heavy equipment. Do you need more? Are you going to get more to help you?
I've got plenty right now. It's just a matter of trying to catch up with Mother Nature.
How much longer do you think it'll take?
Depends on the weather. If it quits raining right now, we may have the highway open by rush hour. Hard to say.
Do you think there needs to be better sort of drainage canals along Pacific Coast Highway, or is this always going to be a problem here?
Well, up until the fires in '93, we never had this problem. But the hills are still fairly well denuded of any deep-rooted plants, so we get a lot of landslides back up in the canyons, and it tries to get to the ocean. It's real simple.
So we're still suffering from those fires.
Oh, yes, we will for another 5 to 8 years.
All right, well, thank you very much, and good luck to you, as you try and fix this problem. And it is a big problem. You see the water pulled up here, but so far it has not crossed over to where people live. Those homes along the beach there are protected by sandbags, and although it's pooling up here, it is staying away from people's property, which is good news. But there is a lot of water still coming down through the canal, which is just amazing to those of us who've been here because, as he mentioned, it stopped raining quite some time ago, and it's kind of a delayed reaction where we have all this runoff coming down the mountain, and it just keeps coming. So we'll send it back to you in the studio.
You know, sometimes in a situation like this, you just wish they had this huge bowl. You just scoop everything up and then throw it into the ocean or something.
Something magic to make it all go away.
Yeah, something magic. Just make it all go away and make it easy.
Despite the technology, you still have to use a shovel to clear it all out.
That's true.
So that's the situation right now. Is it, what's that? Okay, let's go to our phone call. Who do we have on the phone?
Fred Egler. And he's with the Army Corps of Engineers. Fred,
that's correct.
Good afternoon, I should say.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Fred,
we can.
we wanted to ask you some questions about the Sepulveda Basin. Is it doing what it was designed to do?
Yeah, that's correct, it is. It's a storage area, as you can see.
And Gail gave us some numbers. What do those numbers mean? It was at 690, between 694 and 697. What does that mean?
It's at 691 right now, and it's only 13% of its capacity.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And how many, an acre feet, is that how you measure it? How do you measure the water in there?
We acre feet, and it's at 2,274 at the moment. The inflow is 17,000 cubic feet per second, and we're releasing out of Sepulveda about 10,000.
Okay. Have you had to shut down any roads in that area or streets to, divert traffic at all?
We notify the LAPD when the level gets to 680, and they in turn close down Burbank Boulevard. And I just heard that the recreation area is closed also, and that's also part of the storage basin.
Now, how many, in other areas, now we have the Sepulveda Basin in the San Fernando Valley, And which other basins do we have around the Southland that you know of that are designed to do what this one does?
At Hanson and at Lopez dams.
Okay, so they are, what do they call, are they just catch basins? What is it, what's the technical term for this?
Lopez is a storage area, mainly, and Hanson Dam works just like Sepulveda does. It's a storage area, and we release slowly out of there.
Are you concerned at all about the amount of water that's rushing in here, or is everything working according to your plan?
It's working fantastically, as designed.
It's nice to hear that on a day like today.
Well, thank you.
I'm just glad I'm not out in it.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that call from the Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
We're going to go now to...
Bill Smith in Camarillo, but I'm not quite sure if we have a picture just yet. Do we? Oh, yes, we do. This is...
Yes, we do.
Hi, Bill.
Yes, hi. We just wanted to stop and show you this. This is kind of remarkable. This is one of the big flood control channels which are empty 364 days a year. Take a look at this. It's called Callegas Creek. It runs from the Camarillo area down toward Point Mugu and out into the ocean. This thing is just roaring. It's kind of a miniature Mississippi, and it is not so miniature. And we're noticing that often these waves that come through here are in huge, high, tall rollers. They really just roll by us. In fact, we'll sort of follow the water flow down as it heads toward the ocean, and wait till you see how big some of these get here. Sometimes the rollers are up higher than where we are as we're standing on the shoreline. I guess there's just irregularities in the bottom, and as the water goes by here, it gets bumped up into the air, and it is really something at times here. So in case you're thinking we didn't get a lot of rain this time around, well, yes, we did. We got an awful lot of rain, and it is all now from here in the Camarillo area and the Oxnard area. It is heading out to sea. So this is really something. In fact, there's a railroad trestle here. The trestle appears to be that the water is almost up to the level of the trestle. So this is an awful lot of water rolling through here, and we nobody's in jeopardy from any of this. We just wanted to let you see how unusual the water runoff can be. This is a lot of water out of here.
Look at the water in Camarillo. It's just spectacular. It's an amazing amount of water. And even
in fact, if Gary will come around to the right here, look at it. We got some big rollers right beside us right now. Look how big this rolls up and down. This is really unusual to see.
You can almost surf in this. No, we don't want to go there.
Let's not go there.
We won't even go there.
Every time we discuss surfing,
all of this water was in a cloud not long ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, it all came by air. You really appreciate the power of nature. All this water came here by air, and thousands and thousands of tons of this water just cascading down. Again, this is Callegas Creek, which runs from Camarillo, heads down toward Point Mugu, and carries this water out to sea. These rollers are, well, surf is definitely up. That's for sure.
Air freight has always been a very popular mode of transportation.
Just unbelievable.
This is, Eric Spellman was mentioning that, you know, the rain stopped, but the water suddenly, you know, just comes out of the mountains in huge, huge amounts. And, of course, this is, again, as we just learned from the Sepulveda Basin engineers, that this is what these these canals are designed to do. You're right, they're dry most of the year, and you always wonder why they're so wide and so deep. Well, there you go.
This is the reason why, yes.
Yeah, this one is easily 150, maybe even 200 feet wide. I know the camera sort of compresses it sometimes and you can't tell, but this is a huge artificial river, and that's all the water that came into just this area in just the last couple of hours. It's a lot of water.
Look at all the debris that's flowing down the basin.
Yeah, the danger, of course, of that debris is that it blocks the passageways under the bridges and in some of the canals. And at this point, this looks like it's just an overwhelming amount of water, and it's pushing everything in its path towards the ocean.
You know, you get the feeling out here that every flood control channel in Southern California should be twice as wide as it is. Yeah. No matter how wide it is, it should always be twice as wide, because when they are called on to do their job, that's just a huge amount of water to get out of here. Yeah. In fact, we'll give you another shot here. We've got another shot from the Eagle Eye camera. Rob, are you ready to take that one? Because I don't see our picture right now.
There it is.
Yeah, here it is. And you can see that this channel is just surging with water. And in the time that we've been here, it hasn't slowed down at all. So all of this water, which you saw come into town, you saw from Jennifer's picture and from our picture on the ground, all this water that came into the Camarillo area has to go somewhere. And this is where it has gone. In fact, Rob, if you can come back to this picture now for us for a moment, although you panned up now.
You're looking good, Bill.
Also, across the street, thank you. Across the street, you can see that a lot of these farmlands have become flooded here, too. These farmlands are taking a big hit. Ventura County has about 100,000 acres of farmland, and easily thousands of acres of farmland are underwater today, and that's a lot of damage. Eric Spillman reporting yesterday on how the produce price is likely to go up because of the huge hit that the agriculture has taken here in Ventura County, and this is an example of it. These farm fields here underwater.
And as you pull out on that shot showing the water in the foreground and that green hills in the background, as you were zooming in, it looked like Maui.
Yes. Maui no Kauai, yeah. Maui is the best.
How green everything is from the rain and the mist.
The only thing we can assure you is that the temperature quotient here is not anywhere near what Maui is.
Is it still quite chilly there?
Yeah, it's been very cold all morning here. And right now, even though we've had a break and we don't have any rain falling on us now, we're starting, and we've had some sunshine for a while, but now it's starting to get cloudy again. And so Mark and Roland may well be right. It's by no means over. In fact, Gary, take a quick peek over here. Look at this big rush up, which is just happening. This is what I mean by the big boilers. Sometimes they hit stuff underwater and they just come boiling straight up into the air. And this is a kind of an unstable spot. In fact, I think we'll move back.
Good idea.
That's a very good idea, Bill.
Yeah.
We're going to break off for a minute and go back to Eric Spillman in Malibu.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. With an update on what's happening there.
Talk about water growing in size. Look at that.
Water everywhere here. Ugly, muddy water as the creek has overflowed onto Pacific Coast Highway. This is the 19,400 block of PCH. And this started about an hour or so ago. They had to close down Pacific Coast Highway between Las Flores and Cross Creek, close it down to all except for media. Those are the only vehicles going through. And meanwhile, they're trying to clear it up as best they can. And they've got excavators, all kinds of heavy equipment here, and also an ambulance coming through here and a fire truck, which I'm not exactly sure why. But this effort has been going on here as a lot of runoff coming down this creek. It is stopped up, and for that reason, it's filled with mud and debris and all kinds of stuff. They're trying to clear it out as we watch this ambulance come through here. Not quite sure why. But in any case, folks around here are really rather upset about this whole situation, the people who live in this area. And Danny, if you could come over here, I want to talk for a second with George Brownell, who lives not far away. You see what's happening here, and this just bothers you, huh?
Yeah, they should have been right on it after it started raining 2 inches an hour about 2 hours ago. And they should have been right here on top of it, because they were just down here a quarter of a mile, and they went on top. It was running good. All of a sudden, plugged.
All of a sudden it got plugged up. You think they should have been more on top of it?
Right here.
All right, let's turn around and take a look at it here. They seem to be doing their best to try and clear.
Yeah, if they weren't there, we'd have mud in our houses. Oh, yeah. I can't say anything wrong with it now.
Are you concerned about your house?
No. No, I've been here 30 years, you know. We have problems, we take care of them, and then next week the sun shines.
This creek is a continual problem, though. This drainage canal, it always backs up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, because the culvert under here is built like this, you know, a triangle, out big,
small.
Then it goes small down there. It's crazy.
It's not big enough.
No, it's not.
But despite this problem, would you ever consider moving away from Malibu?
Absolutely not. God, no.
You love it here?
Love it. Love it.
You're not going anywhere?
Not going anywhere.
All right, well, looks like they're working on it, and they'll do the best they can.
Now.
All right, thanks for talking to us. And we're watching some kind of paramedic unit and an ambulance come through here. We're not quite sure why. Of course, these would be the only vehicles allowed through here now because there's so much water coming over Pacific Coast Highway. They're not allowing any other traffic, so it could be just some kind of a routine call or other occurrence happening on the other side, and this is the only way to get through, and they're only allowing them through. But you see the situation, despite the fact that this creek has overflowed and there's a lot of water coming down, they've kept it away from people's homes, and they're continuing their work here. They're talking about having this finished, hopefully by sometime this afternoon. There's several different estimates. One person saying he doubted it could be finished before dark. He doubted whether PCH would be reopening before dark. Another person saying with optimism that perhaps it could be finished before the rush hour. So we will see.
Wow.
And the backhoe's taking a break.
Yeah.
They're probably going on lunch.
Lunchtime.
He's been working hard, so he deserves it.
Now, let me just to talk a little bit about what your resident there just said. Now, you were out at 6 o'clock this morning, and there was tractors already digging and doing some work, so, you know, you really can't say that they weren't there early. They were there quite early this morning.
Yes, well, I think what the residents are upset about is they felt that the Caltrans folks and the contractors that they're using here should have been onto this problem a lot quicker than they were. As you mentioned, they were here with a skip loader throughout the morning, but then they kind of went away, and that's exactly when the problem started. I mean, they left here for just a short period of time, and then all of a sudden, the creek backed up and the water started flowing out over Pacific Coast Highway. People here are used to problems with this thing. They've had them in the past. In fact, as I mentioned, they sued the state for $2.5 million, about 6 or 7 residents who live near here whose homes were flooded and damaged in the past by mud coming from this overflowing creek. They won their lawsuit, and this is from something that happened several years ago, and now the state is trying to fix the problem, and they've got a very organized system here. But Mother Nature, what can you say? I mean, it rains hard, the water comes down. Nothing that man can do can really stop it.
Well, the motto for Malibu should not be like, you know, whatever it is, the good life, or Malibu is such a great way of life. It should say Malibu on the edge of disaster.
Yeah.
They always seem to be on the edge of disaster in Malibu.
They really are.
Malibu, where mud is a way of life.
Oh, yeah.
Mud, fire, you name it. It's amazing how many things happen there.
Yeah.
And now you've got a big fire truck trying to move through there.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they're going to, but this whole thing is blocked. There's not much room for them to get through. And once again, speaking of fires, we've learned that all this situation, all these problems that are happening here in Malibu today are the result really of the 1993 Malibu fires, which denuded a number of hillsides in this area. Now what happens, there's still a problem when it rains. The water comes down, there are little landslides up in these canyon areas. That sends rock and debris, and you get the situation that we have here now.
Yeah, there's not been enough time for growth to get a hold of the hillsides, and the topsoil just comes right down. What topsoil's left comes right roaring down the mountain.
Although over the years they have been reseeding and working on those hillsides, but again, it takes quite a while before anything can grow back.
They have to cut a path for that fire truck through there, or what?
You know, he's just staying right where he was. He's not going. He's just backing up with the lights flashing and so forth. We saw a paramedic and an ambulance come through here earlier. They managed to get through, but I guess this guy doesn't think that the passageway is wide enough for him. We're told that most of the canyon roads are open. It'd be a long detour to have to go through there for him.
I just want to get a quick update now. Where else along PCH from Topanga to Cross Creek have you heard of problems like this?
Well, this is the only place, and it's actually from Las Flores now, I'm told, to Cross Creek. And I said it was 10 miles. It's really not. It's about 4 or 5 miles.
Oh, it sounded good, though, at 10 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure did. I overstated.
Well,
it's okay.
That never happens, but
it's easy to do. It's easy to do.
Well, either way, PCH is closed in both directions, at least for several hours.
All right, Eric, we're going to take a look at the weather from the weatherman's perspective. Our meteorologist, Roland Galvan, is here to give us an update on where the storm is and where it's tracking. Thanks, Eric.
It's continuing moving towards the east. We're still watching those lines of thunderstorms. In fact, we show you radar continuing to move towards the east and northeast, still producing about a half-inch an hour rainfall. The good news is that we're not seeing much in the way of redevelopment out towards our west, but throughout the afternoon we'll see little spotty waves moving through the atmosphere that will cause more rain. Right now the heaviest activity is beginning to diminish. In fact, they have not reissued any flash flood warnings for the Southland. The latest one expires in about 5 minutes. So if there's any good news from a weatherman's perspective, that is good news. We are still expecting the snow advisories for the local mountains at about the 6,000 to 7,000 foot elevation because of heavy snow. And as you see, this is a closer in view. That's the rain that came through earlier in the day that Mark was showing you in some of the intense thunderstorms that the Malibu area had gone through, Santa Barbara, Ventura counties, moving eastward now towards Pomona, Riverside areas. We mentioned the afternoon commute for the people living in around those areas, Palm Springs as well. We'll see some heavy showers and thunderstorms. And that line that moved through here, although we're still getting rain here, is now moving through that region, the
Looks like
eastern.
it's hitting Pomona now.
Exactly.
The last shot right there.
And right along Irvine, you see Irvine down towards
Anaheim, yeah.
Exactly. They're seeing another line of thunderstorms.
It should move through Palm Springs, the Riverside, or the Riverside area is being hit right now.
Right now, as you'll see in the last frame, you'll see the red and the yellow. That's where the stronger thunderstorms are occurring.
And then Palm Springs will probably be hit later on this afternoon.
Yeah, it looks like it now.
I mean, it should all clear out of here by tonight.
Well, I wouldn't say clear out because we'll still see some lingering rain during the overnight period and for tomorrow, and then that secondary system coming in for Sunday. The timing on that will be critical because obviously with all the floodwaters that we've had today, there's the wide shot again. When you see the speckled clouds like that, that's indicative of cooler air coming in, and that's the reason why the Weather Service spurred the snow advisory for the local mountains. And then you see another comma-shaped cloud cover there to our west. That will be the system that will come in for Sunday. And there's another system behind that. It's a little harder to tell unless you look at a surface map. But there's a secondary system behind that should be in here by Monday night and for Tuesday.
Will Sunday's system be as strong as
That's
Tuesday's
a thing that's hard to tell since they're so far out in the Pacific and we really don't have a lot of data associated with it. It could be just as strong as we had today. In fact, today's storm wasn't as strong as the one on Tuesday, but yet look what happened across the area. The ground is so saturated, even a small storm is going to cause problems.
All right, well, we're continuing our look around the Southland as we cover this story exclusively here on KTLA Channel 5. We've been on the air since 5:30 this morning, giving you the very latest on a storm that was predicted to be a fairly severe storm, and as Roland just indicated, we may not have gotten as much rain in a quick amount of time, but we got a lot of rain over an extended period of time, and there you see the result of the cloud bursts throughout the day today. The Camarillo Cayeguas River is really a river now instead of a dry creek bed. Bill Smith is there, Bill.
We just wanted to show you this because it really makes the point of just how much water has come in here, and it now all has to go somewhere, and this is where it's going. All of the flood control channels that are up in the Camarillo and Oxnard area, at least most, eventually feed into this channel right here, the Cayugas Creek, and creek is, it's like calling the Mississippi a creek, isn't it? This is an awful lot of water roaring through here, and it, if anything, is getting a little higher as time goes on. This water goes down into the ocean eventually, and we've been told by some people who are locals here just now that they think that this may be causing problems on Highway 1 as it goes through the Point Mugu area, so we're going to make a move down there and check on that. But definitely, as you can see, this is just an enormous deluge of water coming off. The locals say they have seen this creek busy before. Creek again. They've seen it busy, but they have never seen it like this. This may well be an all-time high for the amount of water that is coming through. And it's very turbulent, too. You know, it's spectacular to look at, but it's a little scary standing close to it, too, because it is so turbulent and so you know, the bottom of the ocean, the bottom of the riverway here is irregular, and so it causes all these high rollers and these big waves, and they're very violent. As we watch some of the debris coming down this channel, the debris is sucked under all the time and then pops back up again. So if anybody had any crazy idea about wanting to get into this and think that this is some sort of whitewater rafting, no, it's not. This is very dangerous, very deadly stuff, and this churning is something that you want to stay away from. Better to see it through the television camera than to see it up close, but it is remarkable. In fact, we got some of the debris coming down. I don't know if Gary can catch some of it as it passes by here, but I would guess that the speed of this water flow is somewhere around 15 or 20 miles an hour, and that's enough to sweep you away. Carlos and Sharon, this is a lot of water heading out to sea.
Okay. We're going to check in with Eric Spillman in Malibu for the latest up there. I know there's some severe flooding, and it's blocked off PCH in both directions, and Eric has been watching the situation since early this morning.
Before we get to you, Eric, let me just quickly remind viewers you're watching KTLA TV Channel 5 in Los Angeles as we continue our exclusive coverage here of the situation in this storm that's hitting Southern California. Eric?
Yeah, we're here at Pacific Coast Highway, the 19,400 block, and of course PCH remains closed between Las Flores and Cross Creek. The reason why? What's happening over there? Continues to be a major problem. A creek, Pina Creek is the name of it, as I understand it. It's a small little creek and a drainage canal that normally passes underneath Pacific Coast Highway. On most days it is only a trickle, but today you see it is not a trickle. It's sort of a raging river there behind there, a torrent of water and mud coming down onto the highway, and the reason why is that the drainage underneath the road, which is supposed to work, isn't working, and it isn't working because it's stopped full. It's plugged full of mud and rock and various other types of debris. It's rather surprising that this happened when it did. We've been here all morning long, and it didn't seem to be any problem. I mean, the water was flowing through. They were working on it. Then all of a sudden, we went away for a while. We came back, and this is the result. And Caltrans and its contractors, its work crews are here, busy trying to take away as much muck as possible. The water has pooled up. They've made a barricade, a temporary barricade across the center of Pacific Coast Highway, and the reason for that is to prevent that water from going over to where the beachfront properties are and going into those homes. I understand that in years past, this thing has overflowed several times, and this thing to happen from time to time?
Well, we know, we live a long time here already, and we know these things happen every year, and you do your best. You listen to the advisors from the city Malibu, and you try to follow their advice and buy some sandbags and sandbag everything up and try to keep the drainage hole open, and that's all you can do.
I mean, it looks like you need a bigger drainage canal here. Have you talked about getting one or talked to the city about that?
Well, this hole is awful big, but Mother Nature probably is stronger than the hole. So what do you want to do? You know, it is a big hole. I was down there in the summertime, and but if some bushes come down there or some wood debris and some big bulldozers, which are swept down, and as you know, as you can see, the water comes really down very, very fast. It's just too big.
Nothing that anyone can do.
Right.
Are you worried about your property at all, about your home getting flooded?
Well, of course, we are all property owners here, and we are all concerned about it. And we do our best. We try to keep things open and the drainage system open, and that's all we can do. So, but I don't think I have any problems.
You ever think about moving to higher ground?
Well, I am on a little higher ground, and but no.
You like it here?
This is just fine.
Okay. Thanks very much for talking with us. The update on Pacific Coast Highway is closed for several hours, at least until sometime this afternoon, perhaps before the commute, but maybe not until after dark. Back to you in the studio.
Wow,
Okay.
that is not getting much better there quickly. Okay, thanks very much,
All right.
Eric.
All
What
right.
should we do next? Should we go take a ride in a helicopter?
Yeah, let's go to the helicopter. That's where we're going, yes.
You can see the clouds hanging over the city, and this has been quite a day. It's actually been very slow developing. It started out with some light rain, and then it became heavy rain in Ventura, and as the rain system moved across the Southland, it hit Ventura County with a vengeance, and now we're seeing the result of that several hours later in the washes and in the flooding that's happened in the Camarillo area and Newberry Park at 900 feet above sea level there, and now into the valleys, and you see the Sepulveda Basin is filling up with water, but it continues to create havoc as this system moves across Southern California from west to east.
Good, that's great.
And there you see a shot of Santa Monica as we make our way over the ocean.
Wanted to take a look at this water. You know how we were talking about some of the surfers being daring and going out in this. I don't know if you can really see it from the TV, but look at how dark and brown, and then you can see where it becomes blue. Can you kind of see that along the coast there? Real murky, dark brownish water, and then the blue ocean. Really interesting. That's all the debris and the sewage and all that kind of stuff that's come into the ocean. Isn't that something there?
Okay.
Any event, we've been flying down the coast. I wanted to just make a correction. Pacific Coast Highway is actually closed from Las Flores to Topanga. Both directions closed from Las Flores to Topanga. There's Santa Monica there. We're going to head inland and then take a look at the basin and some parts of the Southland as well and down in downtown, and we'll have more. But I did want to let you know that Pacific Coast Highway completely closed from Las Flores down to Topanga.
So what do we do? We see the coastline there as we make our way up the... you're right.
Coast.
I mean, we saw some surfers yesterday out in the water, and it was contaminated, and you have to use your best judgment.
And the beaches along in Ventura, between Ventura County line and Point Dume remain closed. They were closed on Tuesday, or on Thursday, I should say, because of sewage contamination. That, of course, is still closed, so surfers should avoid going out in that area. Also, Dockweiler Beach, a stretch of Dockweiler Beach remains closed because of contamination.
You know, you try to tell people not to go in the water, and yesterday at the beach I saw a lifeguard yelling at surfers, get out of the water. And then when they didn't get out of the water, he said, well, make sure when you get out, you shower completely, thoroughly, clean yourself off.
And get a tetanus shot while
you're
you're doing it.
Get a tetanus shot and then go see your doctor. Now, we're going to go out to Gail Anderson, who's checking the Sepulveda Basin. Is it continuing to rain there, Gail?
No, the rain has stopped here. Thank goodness. The rain has... I guess you're wondering what this is all about. Every time I work on this story, I learn something. No, I'm not taking up the medical profession. My hands were so frozen at one point. I couldn't do anything, keys, nothing. So some of the search and rescue people taught me that if you put cotton gloves on underneath and you put the rubber gloves on over them, your hands will stay warm. It's the truth. But anyway, getting back to what's going on in the basin here. The last we've heard, nothing much has changed. The rain has stopped here. That level that that we've been hearing about, 691, has remained static. Last reported is not risen. The maximum level, 714. This area closed at Burbank and Sepulveda because of what's going on over my shoulder. This area has flooded. They tell me it's not that deep. They won't let us go down there and test that, but they say it's not that deep. Police cars have driven through it, but they don't want to take a chance with motorists coming through there, as you've seen in other reports in other parts of the coastline here where there's flooding. People run through it and flood out and cause all sorts of problems. They want to prevent that here. That's why this area is closed. The dam, which is over there to our left, is looking good. And a lot better than it did Tuesday. Yes, there is some flooding in this area, but based on what we're hearing from the...
Obviously, we've lost the signal. We apologize for that. We are continuing our storm coverage here on KTLA Channel 5 in just a moment.
We'll be back.
So we've been on since 5:30 this morning.
That's right, and it's
we've
time
been giving
to...
everyone information on what's going on, but we're going to continue here.
That's right, and Hal Fishman, of course, joins us this afternoon. We're going to hand off to him, and he's going to pick up where we left off.
The story's not over yet, Hal.
Unless you'd like to stay a few more hours.
Yeah, I could myself...
I got to check the drains in my house to see how they're...
All right, I think then the two of you have done yeoman's work and yo ladies' work, and I will be taking over here for you, and we certainly appreciate all the information you brought to us. I've been watching you all morning long. Roland Galvan will be here. He will continue to bring us up to date on the meteorological prognostications, in other words, on his weather report. Let's go to Roland right now, and by the way, thanks to both of you. Roland, how do things look right now?
Well, we've had a couple of people calling in from the Huntington Beach area that reported funnel cloud in and around that area. We've got some colder air coming in, so those types of scenarios are not unlikely with all the instability. In fact, we'll show you radar circling the area where the stronger thunderstorms are occurring. We've had repeated bands of strong thunderstorms move through, coming in from the southwest, generally moving towards the northeast. Most of that activity is shifting overall towards the east, but right now, near the Huntington Beach area, northward, as you head into Irvine, Anaheim, and even into Pomona and the Riverside area, you see that squall line of showers and thunderstorms. There's always a possibility with tornadoes now that we're starting to see an influx of cooler air behind the cold front, all the instability in our atmosphere. So don't be too surprised that we see those strong thunderstorms as the moisture continues coming in from the southwest. We're starting to see a reline of showers, maybe even a scattered thunder shower near the Malibu area, but for the most part, all of that activity is generally light to moderate, except as you head inland. Again, we're watching that squall line of thunderstorms. You see them there in red, Hal. That's where we've had two reports, or two people reporting that possibility for some funnel clouds. So we're watching that very closely.
Okay, how deep is that low-pressure system right now? So this will give our people an idea of what they can expect.
We're down to, last night we were at 30 inches of mercury. We're down to about 29.5 now, maybe even more than that. We're still getting more observations as of 1 o'clock, so we'll have more for that for you coming
up. So it looks as though the gateway is open.
The gateway's been open. I think that last storm system really did it. In fact, if we satellite pick 2980, they just tell me 2980 is the last measurable barometer. The gateway from that last storm opened up for this one, and then we have two more behind that we can see in the foreseeable future.
And just making a guess at the present time, do you think, Roland, that it's going to be as severe as the ones we've had in the past, or are they...
Probably not. This next one's probably for Sunday, by the way. Probably not as strong as the last two that we've had, but the important part that you have to consider here is that we've had so much rainfall, and as you've seen all morning, how much rainfall we've had and the flooding situation, it won't take much to cause the serious problems here in the Southland.
There was one report I heard that there were 2 3/4 inches of rain that fell in the Santa Barbara area in 2 hours.
Some of the thunderstorms have been producing, for the most part, 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain. Earlier this morning, with the passage of the front, we've had reports of 2 to 2.5, maybe even possibly 3. That would be more unlikely, but at least 2 inches per hour.
Okay, our storm coverage will continue in just one moment. At Atlantic, and you can see that it's closed in both directions. And that's a very serious situation if anyone is contemplating going into that area. And we'll have Jennifer York over there in just a moment. But first, although the rain may have let up a bit, we should be aware of the fact that the real serious situation is the runoff and the consequences of the tremendous downpour that took place for many hours earlier today. Let's go to one of the hardest hit areas, and that's Camarillo. Bill Smith is standing by live. Bill?
Yes, Hal, we have moved to one of the real key examples of what you're talking about when you said the hazards and dangers of the runoff. We are now at the bottom of the Calleguas Creek, which comes out right next to the Point Mugu Naval Air Station. And this is the Highway 101 Pacific Coast Highway pair of double bridges that go over the creek. Normally, these bridges are about 15 feet in the air, but as you can see now, the water is just spilling in here, and it is jamming up all the way to the bridge level and over. As a result, Highway 1 at Point Mugu closed in both directions. You cannot get through, and it'll be a while. The scraper trucks are coming by just to scrape the debris off, but the real problem, other than the debris that these guys scrape off as often as they can, the real problem is, and again, he'll just keep on going and keep pushing it off, and then more comes in. Let me show you where the most serious problems are. In fact, Gary and I might be able to kind of lean around a little bit, but this debris kicks up. Let me get out of Gary's way so that he can see that. In fact, Gary, if you could look around the bridge there, and we're stepping over our own wires and over some barricades and barriers here. But as you look past the bridge, you can see this debris that washes downstream, Hal, jams up against the bridge, and that just sort of clogs the way and causes the water to rise even higher. It is sort of a perpetual motion machine. To battle that, Caltrans has brought in this big crane-type digger, which is now on the northbound of the two bridges here. And what he's doing is he's digging out the branches and the trees and all the debris that comes down Calleguas Creek. He is digging it out as fast as he can to keep the water flowing under the bridge. That, I have to say, that's a somewhat heroic thing to be doing out there, because storms like these do carry bridges away occasionally. He doesn't seem to be too worried about that, but they are continuing to dig and try to keep the flow so that it doesn't completely go over the bridges. It is, of course, spilling over the bridges right now and spilling past us and down onto the highway. And so, Hal, this is a pretty dramatic example of how serious the runoff can be, and just what enormous volume of water there was. In fact, the way it is not only running off, but as Gary takes you around to the left a little bit, Gary will see that this water, as it comes off the bridges, now drops down onto the roadway and just is overflowing into all the farmland out here. So this is just a big situation where we've got a lot of runoff. You're now looking up 101 toward Point Mugu, and the first gate to Point Mugu is completely underwater. So if there's access to Point Mugu to the Naval Air Station, it is only at the upper gate up toward Oxnard, because this one down here is also underwater. This is a mess, Hal, yes.
Yeah, Bill, I understand that Point Mugu has been evacuated of all civilian workers. Is that correct?
It appears to be, because we are seeing, can't confirm it for sure, but we are seeing a steady stream of vehicles out and heading for higher ground. So I'm inclined to believe that that is the case. Again, they have to go out through the other gate, because this gate here, the one that's closest to the Malibu end, is completely underwater. They've got 4 or 5 feet of water there. It's a mess.
As you look up toward Santa Barbara, toward Ventura and Santa Barbara, well, what does the weather look like now? Because that's where our storms are coming from.
You know, we were in some sunshine a few minutes ago, but all of a sudden, as you can see, these dark clouds have moved in here. It's starting to get cloudier again on us, and the wind is starting to kick up. Again, like a frontal system passing through, and the wind picks up and then shifts. And that's what we are feeling right now. So, Hal, I would say that, unofficially, of course, I would say that there appears to be more heavy weather coming in. In fact, let me spin Gary around here, only because the water level just rose somewhat abruptly here between these two bridges. So this water, and again, we're trying not to step through places that won't hold us, this water now has risen up again and is splashing through the bridges. We're now looking down toward the Malibu-Santa Monica direction of Highway 1, Pacific Coast Highway, in the Point Mugu area, and the traffic on the other side is all stopped too. This road was closed only about 35 minutes ago, so up until just a short time ago, they were able to get through here, but finally the runoff from the huge rains that hit Camarillo and Oxnard a little while ago, finally that runoff is down here, and it has clobbered Highway 1, and Highway 1 is completely shut down.
Bill, do you hear anything from the Santa Paula area, because the river runs right by the town there? Are there any reports from that area?
Hal, best I can say is we went over the river as we came back down from Ventura about 2 hours ago, and at that time the river was handling the runoff well. Can't speak to it beyond that, but when we last saw it almost 2 hours ago now, it was a lot of water, but it was nothing like this. This is the most dramatic case of runoff and congestion from the runoff that we have seen all day.
Okay, Bill, thanks very much. You stand by. We'll be getting back to you shortly, as that situation is certainly in flux at this time. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll be going aloft to Jennifer York and Skycam 5, but first these words. Aloft to Jennifer York and Skycam 5. Jennifer, where are you now?
I hate to give this unfortunate news, Hal. This is not the 110. This is the Santa Ana Freeway. We were over the 110 just a minute ago with that closure. I'll remind everybody, if they're just joining us, the southbound side has been closed now right about MLK, and the northbound side is closed at Slauson because of flooding. Here we are over the Santa Ana Freeway. Take a look at this. This is truly unbelievable. It usually does flood here when it rains, but I haven't seen flooding this bad in a long time. Now, you're probably wondering, why are these cars driving through? There's one that's actually stuck here. Well, these are the cars that I would say maybe the workers or the folks, the CHP, that they're trying to direct the cars. These are the ones they didn't get to. I'll explain myself in just a moment. Let's go ahead and tilt or pan to the right, and we'll show the northbound side. These are the cars that are trying to go through this area, but they've actually closed the freeway, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment. They're taking everybody off at the Atlantic North off-ramp. But these are the cars that just kind of passed that closure. You see there where there's a wide open space there. So those are the cars that are kind of stuck between the closure and that flooded area. All the other cars on the northbound 5 right here are getting directed off to the Atlantic North off-ramp. As you can imagine, this is causing a huge delay. It's backed up well before the 605. Also, you see those lanes above the freeway. That's Telegraph Road that parallels the 5. That is backed up for a good, probably a mile or so. And then, of course, we have the southbound side to deal with. I don't know if you want to spin around or not, but the southbound 5 apparently backed up all the way to the Glendale Freeway. Now, we need to kind of look and see if they've actually closed. You know what? They have not closed the southbound lanes. The southbound lanes, people are still driving through them. And again, it looks like we've got about 40 cars that are trying to make go through the flooded area on the northbound side. But the northbound side is completely closed. And unfortunately, look at all these people here, unfortunately, that are getting stuck in this madness. There again, those are the cars that are going to have to try and make it through this flooded area or just be stuck there on the freeway on the northbound side.
Now, Jennifer, we did see some cars that were stuck in the water.
Right there, there's one. Tilt up.
There's
there you
one,
go.
and there's another one, yeah.
So I don't know if the rest of those cars are going to be able to make it through or not. And then again, the southbound side, if we go to the left a little bit, Steve, those cars are still going through, and they have not shut down the southbound 5 yet. This again is the Santa Ana Freeway at Atlantic, just in the North Commerce area.
Well, it looks as though the southbound lanes are also flooded.
Very flooded,
yeah.
yes. The cars are going through, and they haven't shut down the southbound side yet. Although, again, I wanted to remind people, if you're planning to come through this area, the southbound Santa Ana is backed up onto the southbound Golden State, and that is bumper to bumper all the way back to the Glendale Freeway. I would say that's a good 8 miles or so, at least, or more, of backup for the southbound Golden State. Now, I also wanted to mention the 710 is moving fine. So if you need to head down into this area, use the 710. That is working as a good north and southbound alternate. Again, I guess they're just going to try and help these cars get through. Again, there's about 40 cars here that are stuck between the closure and this flooded portion of the 5.
Now, could you show us once again the extent of that backup? That was an awesome picture when we saw the traffic backed up on that freeway.
Right. Now, this, again, where you see those cars, that is Telegraph Road there that parallels the 5.
Right.
This is the Atlantic North off-ramp, and then you'll see where they've closed the freeway. That's the North 5, and then we'll open up and show you... We'll go wide and show you the backup here. This, again, is from at least a 605. Now, also,
now, how many, Jennifer, how many miles long would you estimate that backup is? 6
or 7 miles. It has to be about 6 to 7 miles. Now, the surface streets in the area, Atlantic, that is backed up as well. You might have seen it in the shot a minute ago. So people trying to get in and out of this area, Washington and Atlantic are really backed up because they're stuck having to get off at Atlantic and try to make their way around this area.
Okay, now, Jennifer, what about the southbound lanes? We see very few cars coming through, and they did get through in one lane where it was flooded, but they're coming through southbound. What is the backup southbound?
Well, that's to the Glendale Freeway, which is then, it goes through the East LA interchange, and then it becomes the Golden State. Cars are backed up onto the Golden State, the 5 portion, that is the Golden State portion of the 5, and that's backed up to the Glendale Freeway. And again, I would say that's probably a good 8 miles or more of backup there. And we can take a look at that. See where all the cars are crossing over the freeway? That is Atlantic. That is the Atlantic Boulevard, and that is all backed up. And unfortunately, people don't know where to go. They're just, and here we go. This is what's left of the cars here that are on the freeway as well. Let's see if we can show the cars on the northbound 5, Steve. That just tilt down a little bit. You'll see that where the flooding is. See if they're making it through. There we go.
Okay, Jennifer.
Looks like another car got stuck. Tilt up a little bit. That car looks like it might have stalled. There's somebody out there helping.
Okay, Jennifer, we'll get back to you in just a moment, and I want to bring Roland Galvan in also to give us a look at the latest weather. He has some update reports for us, but we'll be back in just a moment with those right after these words.
The possibility for the forecast at the higher elevations, you see the rain now. We're starting to see a let-up in some of the precipitation coming in from the west, but moderate showers with all the instability in our area still occurring across most of the Southland, and San Diego getting pounded over the past several hours with more than 2 inches of rain as the moisture comes in from the southwest. City radar shows the precipitation as it moves towards the area. And again, earlier today, we had several people calling in about funnel clouds reported near Manhattan Beach. You see the red and the yellow, that's the indicative of the colder cloud tops, about 50 to 55,000 feet in the atmosphere. And that's why we're starting to see some severe weather occurring. You see it now moving through Irvine in the last frames there, moving rather rapidly towards the north and northeast. 1.5 inches to possibly 2 inches of rain per hour associated with some of those storms. And as we mentioned earlier, if we take a look at the satellite, there are more systems coming in from the west. There's the system that moved through during the morning hours. You see the Kama-like swirl moving up towards the north, but then another wave, another cold front coming in right behind that. That system could be into the Southland as we head into Sunday. So the El Nino storms continue here all across California.
Are we going to get any sunshine, say, tomorrow?
We'll see a breakup at the clouds by tomorrow. In fact, we could see significant sun later in the day, but then as the new system comes in through for Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, we'll see more of the rain.
Very good. Okay, let's go to the sky now with Skycam 5 and Jennifer. You are. Jennifer?
Do you copy me, Hal?
Yes, we do,
right.
Loud and clear.
All right, well, we weren't prepared for this, so sorry about that. We're over the Commerce area. Again, a good reminder to everybody that needs to head into this area. We have the closure of the 5. We might be able to go to some footage of it earlier because we've already departed from that area. We're north of that right now. If we have the footage, go ahead and roll. Both sides of the 5 are completely blocked. In fact, this is a backup. This is great. Thank you, Steve. We can at least show you the southbound 5, which I mentioned earlier was backed up onto the southbound 5 as in the Golden State. So this is the Santa Ana Freeway. It is not closed southbound at Atlantic, although water is covering all lanes. And you can see, look at this backup. It goes all the way onto and through the East LA interchange. It backs up onto the South 5 at the onto the Golden State, and that's backed up to the Glendale Freeway. That's past Dodger Stadium. Horrendous backup here for the southbound 5. Now, the northbound 5, they have closed all lanes, and they're taking you off at the Atlantic North off-ramp. That is backing up everything from well before the 605. It's just a horrendous delay. Look at all these cars stuck in the backup here. Unfortunately, if you're in this, there's really no good way to get out of it because many of the surface streets, including Atlantic and Washington and all those around this area, are also backed up, and some of them are actually closed, which is what we're finding. Our unit run into a problem that's trying to get into that area.
Jennifer, you know that area so well.
Yeah.
What would you recommend if someone had to go that way and any alternate routes?
Yeah, well, if they have to go into this area, I would strongly recommend you can take the 10 or the 60 east, and then you can take the 710 from the 10 or the 60, which is just east of, the East LA area, and take the 710 south, and then get to your destination that way. However, don't exit at Atlantic because that's all backed up, because that's where they're taking the cars off at the 5 on the northbound side. Again, the southbound lanes remain open, but this is the backup. Now we're almost to the San Bernardino. We're heading into the Boyle Heights area. Left side of the roadway is a southbound Golden State. Now, isn't this amazing? This is the backup now that is onto the Golden State. And again, we've been told the backup is to the Glendale Freeway, and we're about, I would say, a good 5 miles shy of that. Is that not something? So, a lot of people didn't know about this, and this flooding just occurred, and unfortunately now they've got a backup to deal with. And again, I would strongly recommend you take the 710 as an alternate if you need to head south anywhere or northbound.
All right, Jennifer, now can you give us a view across the city, out toward the west, out toward the ocean,
Absolutely.
and let's see what things look like.
Absolutely. Look at downtown. It's kind of hiding behind some low clouds here. There's Dodger Stadium. And then we'll shoot up way in the background will be the Hollywood area.
Right.
We're panning around. There's the downtown area, and there's South Central. A good reminder again, the 110 freeway also experiencing a lot of flooding. We'll see if we can actually see the 110 freeway for you and see if that's cleared up at all.
Okay, is that some break in the clouds and a light that we see out there toward the west?
Yeah, a little bit out, yes. A little bit to the west there. It looks like over towards the Malibu area, maybe. Excuse me, the marina area. It looks like there's a little bit of light coming from the marina area. We're right over Dodger Stadium. Let's go ahead and can you show the to the left, Steve, the southbound lanes. Again, we've been telling you about the flooding on the 110, and all those lanes are closed southbound. And that is the backup there through the downtown area now for the southbound lanes. The northbound lanes have been rerouted onto the elevated portion of the freeway, and the northbound lanes are backed up to the 105. Again, the closure, or I should say the flooding, has occurred right around Slauson.
Okay, Jennifer, we want to leave you here for a moment and go to Bill Smith in Camarillo. Bill?
Kind of remarkable, Hal. Even though it's all closed, the CHP has escorted a bunch of these people just now across this flooded bridge. So here at Calleguas Creek, just a little bit below Point Mugu on northbound Highway 1, Pacific Coast Highway, they have been waiting about 45 minutes to get through, and the Highway Patrol just sort of drove through the water real fast a moment ago to be sure it was safe, and then squeezed and eased these people through. So Highway 1 still remains closed here as you come up to Point Mugu, closed in both directions because of the overflowing creek. But at least CHP did manage to, there goes a Navy truck right there, CHP did manage to get some of these people out. And as we wrap it all up here, we'll move up here. Gary Reyes and I will walk up onto the bridge. This bridge is normally about, in fact, we can go to this side, can't we? We have no tow trucks coming, no bulldozers, so we're probably all right. Bulldozers do wonders to our cables. These bridges are normally about 15 to 20 feet above the ground underneath, but as you can see, the runoff is heavy. The bridge is underwater for the most part, and Highway 1 is closed at Point Mugu. Hal, back to you.
Okay, Bill, thanks for that report.
In scraping, it just feels like a film. It looks like a prehistoric dig. But I know it's clean because I clean it.
I don't think anybody has ever figured out what it is and what to do with it.
For tough limescale stains like these, you need Lime Away Heavy Duty.
This is great! It went away instantly.
How can a product that's not harsh take off such buildup with ease?
It's totally gone. It rinsed it right off.
It is truly amazing. Nobody would believe it.
Lime Away, the easy way.
I like it. I like it. Don't take it away.
This week, Stater Brothers introduces new store-wide Stater Savers. Extra savings without the club card. Randall Farms chicken leg quarters are just 49 cents a pound. Stock up on Nissen Cup noodles, only 19 cents. Black seedless grapes are a sweet buy at 79 cents a pound. And choose from 5 varieties of Chips Ahoy cookies, just $1.99.
In the heartland of California, in the heartland, Stater Brothers. 13 Mai.
Does a French woman ever have a bad hair day?
13 Mai, 13 Mai.
Some shampoos seem to wear out after a while. Not new Tresemme changes. A special combination of cleansers adjusts each time you shampoo, so your hair may never get tired of Tresemme changes.
And every day is a good hair day.
13 Mai, 13 Mai. Ooh la la.
Professional, affordable Tresemme.
Ah, the land of Excalibur in Las Vegas. It's magical. It's mystical. It's memorable. And it's affordable, with rooms available from just $39. Excalibur, escape to a land of legendary value. Call now for reservations.
In celebration of Black History Month, KTLA presents the following calendar of events. For the month of February, the William Grant Still Arts Center presents music, dance, fine art, and literature. February 14th, our Authors Study Club presents the annual African Festival. And February 15th, the Writers' Corner presents poetry reading. This Black History Month calendar